Greetings from Storybrooke. I'm Bill Meeks.
And I'm not Becca Canote.
No, you're not. You're Anne-Marie.
I'm Anne-Marie DeSimone.
Anne-Marie DeSimone, I think that is the proper pronunciation. And this is something different for a modern audience. We're going to change your name to Stumpy. We also talk about ABC's hit series Once Upon a Time. And my voice is still a little sore from our RegalCon panel.
Yeah, it sounds it.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little rough.
I'm still like pretty tired too from it, but
tired? What's that?
I don't know, but like, I think I'm gonna rally because we have a lot to talk about tonight.
I think wasn't it our first 2 points take up 2 pages?
Yeah, I think each of us, every one of our points is at least a page long, and we added 4, and then we have like 20 minutes of
half an hour.
Well, we have half an hour of voicemails and a bunch of letters from you guys. It's going to be really, really cool.
Tuck in, y'all. We're going to be here all night. Where's
my
camera?
There it is. And if you see our chat here, normally we broadcast Mondays, 8:30 p.m. EST at live.universebox.com. Tonight, it's a Tuesday, same time though, and at live.universebox.com. We encourage you to get over there, hop in the chat. They're throwing a bunch of research about Merlin and King Arthur.
I don't even know. They've got me outsmarted for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But I guess we should go ahead and get started talking about the episode, the Operation Mongoose, as it were. So
Operation Mongoose.
So why don't you go ahead and hit us up with the rhyming episode summary?
All right. Isaac wants to prove his jerk boss wrong. He's practiced to make his stories more strong. An alternate history is what's on offer thanks to a pen, some ink, and the author. Heroes are villains and bad guys are good. Regina is chillin' without Robin Hood. Henry's in Misthaven trying to fix it. He'd better hurry before everyone kicks it. Is this show's greatest threat flying grape juice? The Sorcerer's revealed in Operation Mongoose.
Operation Mongoose.
Mongoose.
Operation Mongoose.
Goose.
Operation Mongoose, part 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Yes.
1 and
Which
2.
Was your favorite, part 1 or part 2?
Part 1.5.
Fair enough. What did you think about the episode overall, though?
Okay. Can you give me my camera?
Yep.
This was my reaction.
Yes, I saw you posted that to Facebook. Actually, I think you texted me.
I texted you. I tweeted it. I posted it to Facebook because my reaction was...
Yeah, because I was actually watching it in a room full of people at RegalCon,
including actors, Adam, Eddie, all sorts of craziness.
Pretty much like 40% of the crew or like creatives and like 30 or 40% of the cast.
Too bad you had to leave 20 minutes before it was over.
Yeah, my shuttle ended up getting there early, so I missed the last 20 minutes, so I had to wait hours and hours and hours before I could find out how it ended. Well, yeah, I did look at spoilers online.
Spoilers!
But no, I really liked it too. Well, once I finally got to see it, right?
Right.
Okay, so first off, I guess the thing, one of the big things I think we should talk about definitely is the Dark One as an entity. You know, the real Dark One, the for realsies Dark One.
I was going to say for realsies.
Yes, I first of all, I love the concept that the thing driving our main villain throughout the entire series, Rumpelstiltskin, is actually the oldest evil the realms have ever seen, and like this old, deep, dark evil, which kind of feels like the devil or Satan or something like that. But this universe's version of it, and I think that's a really nice development because. We've seen Rumpelstiltskin kind of driving events the entire series, and now we find out that
it wasn't him.
Yeah, it was really someone else driving him more or less, and I'm kind of preying on his weaknesses to be sure. But I was kind of thinking here with this revelation that there is like a Dark One entity. Other Anne-Marie asked, okay, how awesome was it to watch the finale with the actors? I was back in the back because I had all my bags with me and I had to rush out soon. But I mean, it was cool to be in a room full of oncers and like
you could feel the energy, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, and you could tell who the Swan Queen shippers were, and all that kind of stuff too.
Yes, the Outlaw Queens. Captain Swan.
Yes, so I was thinking once we found out that this Dark One entity is a thing unto itself, I was thinking back to this whole past season and the Sorcerer and the Apprentice and the Dark One and all the stuff they've had interacting with. And I remember back last half season, they had I think it might have been the Dark One before Rumple and then Rumple like coming in to try to steal the hat.
Zozo?
Yeah, Zozo. Or they mentioned he had tried before.
Yeah.
So I was wondering why the Dark One wanted to steal the hat. Not the Dark One Rumple, but the Dark One, the entity itself. Because it seems like, no matter who the Dark One is, they're trying to get the hat.
Right.
And it seemed in that episode that it was because they wanted free from the dark curse and everything. And it was just like, I just want to be free of this curse that I'm under.
Right.
But this episode kind of started making me think a little bit differently. I was wondering, like, maybe the Dark One's kind of like a parasite. You know, those parasites you hear about, the cats get that, like, I don't know, make them scratch out their eyes or something, you know, that kind of drive around the bigger animal, more or less. So I'm thinking maybe the Dark One entity is like that, and it's attached itself to Rumple or Zozo or now Emma, spoilers. So driving them around to get this hat. So if that's the case, I'm thinking it's because the hat the Dark One entity knows that the hat won't be able to contain it. So if it can get someone like the apprentice to try to put it into the hat, it can escape and be free of its human host, and then it can be free to, you know, wreak havoc again and, you know, mess with Merlin's day.
Find someone else to host it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, I mean, not even that, just because the reason it's in a human host is to protect the world, because being inside of a human host means it can be controlled. If it doesn't have a human host, it can't be controlled very well.
Interesting. I wonder why it stayed in Storybrooke then.
I wreak havoc generally. Although I don't know if it could leave Storybrooke, could it? Because, you know, once you cross that line, we saw with Chernobog earlier, you know, once you cross that town line, a magical creature will dissipate. Yeah. Only magical objects can go into the real world,
but not magical creatures. That's true.
Yeah. And I also just kind of the effect they had on it, which they put out a really cool poster too.
Did they? I didn't
yeah, to kind of preview season 5 and everything. But
the 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes so much sense now.
But the effect almost reminded me of like the Venom symbiote from Spider-Man or something, which I thought was kind of cool. I did think that the whole transformation scene with Emma went on a little bit too long.
Absolutely.
I also wonder, did Merlin somehow manipulate Rumple into manipulating Regina into casting the curse to contain the Dark One entity in the land without magic? Like, that
all makes sense?
Yeah, like I'm thinking maybe the original curse from season 1 was part of Merlin's plan to get the Dark One out of magical realms forever, so he didn't have to worry about him again. You know, because if Rumple's outside of Storybrooke, then
it didn't really.
Well, I mean, if Rumple as the Dark One went outside of Storybrooke, then no one would be in danger from the Dark One anymore because he has no power.
No power.
Yeah, so.
Interesting.
So just a couple things about the Dark One entity.
Okay. Sort of going with that. I have an issue with Emma as the Dark One. Okay. So yes, Emma is the Dark One. She's taken it on. She's protected Regina, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And she just disappeared. But she doesn't have the dagger. She dropped the dagger. It was in the middle of the floor. The key point of all of this is that if I have the dagger, I control the Dark One. Guess what? Emma Swan, Dark One, I command you to reappear. They have to do whatever we saw. Like, they have to do whatever.
Well, at least we know that there's a bunch of kind of trustworthy people right around that dagger.
Right, that's why I was like, when she disappeared, the dagger dropped around Snow, Charming, Hook, Regina, and Robin. They were all standing there. They can take care of it. She actually probably can't hurt anybody if they do this properly.
Yeah.
Because she can be under control.
Well, I would almost say that, you know, just the nature of Emma versus the nature of Rumple, she's going to be a completely different kind of Dark One anyway. Yeah. Like, because, I mean, Rumple operates from a place of fear more than anything, but Emma's never been like that. Emma's she's more proactive, and I don't know, like, what quality do you think Emma has that would be equitable to Rumple's, like, fear and cowardice?
Her loneliness.
Her loneliness? I could see that. I could definitely see that. Where do you think she went? Where do you think she's
I have no idea. Like Dark One training camp? I have no clue.
I'll be a Dark One. I'll be a Dark One for the end of the night.
Like, I don't.
I wonder if she still has the savior power. Well,
okay, so then, like, is she the Dark One and the Light One?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is...
Well, that's kind of what it seemed like Rumple was in the alternate universe. It seemed like he was the Light One, you know?
He was. He said he's the Light One.
Yeah.
And they called him the Dark One. He's like, no, that's wrong.
I'm the Light One.
I'm the Light One.
Yeah. And I don't have my gold tooth.
Oh, no gold tooth.
Yeah,
There's no scaly skin, that's for sure.
yeah. Actually, like even like as
Maybe
Mr.
Emma will have the crazy skin.
Even as Mr. Gold, they usually do a little bit of makeup on Carlisle. I don't think they did for this
No,
episode
they made
at
him
all.
pretty if they did makeup.
Pretty.
Pretty, I feel pretty. What do we say?
Yeah, they're talking all sorts of stuff in the chat here.
Okay, good.
But I hear you want to go through there and try and see if you can find some stuff to pull out real quick while I
sure.
move on to my next point here.
All right.
Okay, so I noticed a theme that kept coming up in this episode over and over again was hope. And specifically in the alternate universe, the Heroes and Villains book or world. So, you know, I noticed both heroes and villains both kind of reject hope in this world, which I thought was interesting because it's something that we've seen both heroes and villains embrace in the normal Once Upon a Time universe. A couple of examples. Regina is mad at Henry for giving her hope.
Yes.
And then Snow feels that hope is a powerful thing that needs to be snuffed out.
Right.
So I just thought it was interesting that hope, which has driven our heroes and villains thus far in the series, is viewed as a negative by both sides in this kind of bizarro universe world.
Yeah, that was a little weird. It's because like hope is like an overarching point in the show. And they basically were like, no, hope is bad. Hope is bad. I'm like, but hope is good. It gives you
hope.
Yeah.
No, but I guess it just shows that how much the world of heroes and villains is fundamentally different from Once Upon a Time. It feels,
but that was the point, was to make it completely different from everything we know.
Yeah, it feels kind of like, and this is a comic book reference, apologies, but it feels almost like kind of like Earth 3 from DC Comics, because in Earth 3, like all the Justice League are bad guys, more or less, and you know, in that disparity, that kind of opposite value translates across every part of their lives. Like, you know, their hearts are on the left side instead of the right side, or whatever the right version of that is.
Right.
Yeah, but you know, it just everything is completely flip flopped, and you know, so I thought it was interesting that that was kind of flip flopped too.
That is kind of flip flopped. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Bobby wants to know, will Emma look like a crocodile?
I think she's gonna get some scaly skin.
I would like to see her almost like kind of like the Ring girl from The Ring or something, just like kind of uber creepy.
If they keep doing this stupid red eye thing though, like that, she just looks sick. She doesn't look evil to me. She just looks ill.
Actually, the version of her that was in the tower in Heroes and Villains universe
was amazing.
Yeah, that would be maybe scale her up a little bit, or you know, make her look a little bit more ghoul-like or something. And that would be very reasonable.
My thing. I was like, she looks like an evil witch, and it was perfect. Like, I love that they used that in the promos. I wanted more of that Emma.
Yeah.
Not that you could do too much with it. She was sort of, tied to the floor.
Yeah, Angel points out in the chat room, and this is a really good point. Didn't it take a while for Rumple to start looking more impish? And yeah, he got more like glittery and goldy as time went on.
He got. Yeah.
So that could be interesting.
So there's
too.
that.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Now you wanted to talk about what wasn't in the episode, or what wasn't in the episode enough.
We're going to call this the case of the missing or partially missing characters.
I will say, the Anne Marie says, I love that Zelina's skin turned green there at the end. It showed that she couldn't escape who she really was. And I think that was the case with Rumple too. That
he's still the dark one.
And I mean, even down to like Robin and Regina, like realizing they were still in love and everything. Like no matter how hard the author tried to manipulate the story, he can't change who they are fundamentally as people.
Right. Exactly.
And the villains are still going to sabotage themselves, one way or the other.
Okay. Maleficent. Where'd you go? Where'd you go, Mal? Like, she was only mentioned once, and at the very end, she has been trying, she was all about talking Lily into staying for as long as she could get her to teach her how to be a dragon and all of this stuff. I don't feel like she'd have been that far away when the jump happened. Yeah. I feel like they'd have been, I don't know, at Granny's having tea and talking about how to fly in Storybrooke or something crazy. Yeah, it was kind of weird that Lily was there, but Maleficent. But then again, maybe it has something to do with like production schedules. She's on like 6 bazillion things. And she was majorly featured in last week's episode too. Like she was like the central character. Right, but they didn't really need her to be. I mean, she just needed to have a presence. I think because she's been so important. Now, this is my only like explanation for it. So she wasn't back in Misthaven, And in an earlier episode, she said that she's not able to leave Storybrooke because Rumple brought her back for something. Did the jump re-kill her?
That's a good question.
Is she dead again?
Maybe. But I think they're going somewhere with Maleficent.
I'm sure they are.
I think it's an interesting thought. I think no, but that's just because I don't want to scratch one of the theories I have coming up later in the episode. So
yeah, but that was the only explanation I could come up with, is that they re-killed her.
Oh, Hope's in the chat room. She might not be listening, but hi, Hope.
Yeah, I was about to say she closes in 15 minutes. Okay, August. Yes, he was there just to tell everyone about the apprentice. But the Charmings should know the apprentice.
Should they?
The egg.
Oh, yes.
They know who the apprentice is.
This is very true.
They know.
And I mean, Hook knew, obviously.
Yeah, but Hook didn't know he was the apprentice.
Yeah.
He was just like, oh, I know who that guy is. I put him in a hat.
I thought that was an interesting revelation, too. Oh, by the way, Hope in the chat room asked if we liked the episode or not, and I told her to watch and find out.
Oh, wait, here. That's about what my reaction was, Hope.
Yeah. But yeah, like I thought it was weird that they revealed that in just like a little bit of dialogue instead of having just like even like a brief like flashback to that time in August's life. I always hesitate to say the name of that city because you could mess that up really quick.
Yes, you could.
Yeah.
And also, was he pulled back to Misthaven? Was he pulled back as Pinocchio or as August, or did the author just ignore him? Just because he was involved at that point. And let's just be honest, we should all just be happy that we have Ian Bailey back. They're not using him. Like, they got him to finally come back.
Well, like based on we're not going to get into RegalCon too much of this episode just because this is about the finale. But based on the kind of stuff he was saying at RegalCon, like I have a feeling he's going to be
pretty big.
He'll be back at least, if nothing else. Like
okay, good. Well, he has all these little ins. His character has so many more ins than other people.
Like I would like I think it was someone last week suggested maybe he could also be like Teenage Lily's boyfriend.
Yes, I love that.
That would be cool.
That. All right, Blue. If I was green, I would die. If I was green, sorry. Okay, it felt like it was entirely too easy for her to bring people out of the hat using an item that belonged to her.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Yeah, because it was like we needed the dagger until we didn't. More or less.
Exactly. If it was that easy. She was in the hat. She should know everybody was in there. She should know that the apprentice was in there, and she should have gotten him immediately out, which goes back to your theory that, well, Merlin and Blue have had a falling out and are, dividing up the properties, basically.
Yeah. They're the real conflict in this story.
Yeah, they're the real situation. So that sort of came along with that. I did, however, like the name check that the fairies got in back in Misthaven. That's right, we're just calling it Misthaven now. But an appearance would have been somewhat better, like to actually see this part play out instead of just hear it. It's always better to see something than to be told about an action.
The dark fairy dust.
Yeah, we could have caught the bandit, but Blue and the other fairies laid a path of dark fairy dust. So, who was the dark fairy that we knew?
I think isn't the dark fairy just his never been revealed, has just been referenced several times.
Okay, because I know Snow had the dark fairy dust that turned the trolls into cockroaches and her into a ladybug. Yeah, and stuff like that. But does this confirm? Okay, so this made the fairies dark in Misthaven. Does that mean that they are actually hero-esque? On the side of the light and happy in our current world? I don't even know how to refer to things anymore.
So I was thinking about that, and I don't think that necessarily says for certain that they're good. And the Blue is a good character. Yeah, there's still hope for her being shady.
Oh, she's
because
shady.
You got to remember, this is all it's all written from the perspective of Isaac, the author, and Rumple. And as far as they know, I mean, Rumple doesn't like Blue very much, but as far as they know, Blue's firmly on the side of good. Yeah, they're just annoying to Rumple. Right. So if you're writing a character who's good the opposite way, you're gonna write them bad. But if they were bad to begin with, you wouldn't know. We
have things to go with that though.
Like, how do you mean?
Lily.
Okay.
She's bad. I don't know if we may have it in there later.
And
but,
she was still
she was still bad.
Well, she was more of a soldier. Like instead of being like a rebel punk rocker, she was more of a soldier, which I guess is kind of an opposite, you know.
Meh. She was basically just like the dwarves.
She was the Black Knight.
She was the Black Knight. Mm-hmm. So were the dwarves.
Yeah.
The dwarves are very much on the side of the good.
Yeah, well, that was kind of like a good evil flip. I'm saying that Lily was like a rebellious punk rocker dragon lady to a soldier dragon protector.
I can
sort
see
of
that
thing.
flip.
Yeah.
I can see that. Maybe he just didn't know what to do with her. Mm-hmm. Okay. Baby Neil.
Baby Neil.
My overarching problem is Baby Neil.
Oh, hello, the Blue Knight. Yes.
Yes, you're black.
Definitely. You are the Black Knight.
You are the Black Knight now. So,
good day.
Okay, it was beaten like a dead horse that we're not getting Neil back. Of all the things that they get from the fandom, is that really the one that they have to beat with a stick?
Well, I think it's probably just to make sure everyone know, or it could be a misdirection. Maybe Neil's back in episode 1 too.
I just want at least a flashback. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Like, I'd be cool with the character in flashback. I don't need. I mean, I'd like him to be back in reality, but I'm okay with not.
I will say, as far as, because I know your next point coming up here is Baby Neil. Baby Neil was in the episode. He was Rumple and Belle's baby.
Thanks for just taking literally my statement.
No, I thought yours was it? It confirmed, definitely.
Where did you get the confirmation?
Interviews, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was definitely their baby. And I was actually a little conflicted on that because, Henry got left behind because he was from the world without magic and everything. And I was like,
Baby Neil. No, Baby Neil wasn't. He was conceived
in Misthaven, where Henry was conceived in the real world. So that's why Baby Neil didn't, or Henry didn't make the trip and Baby Neil did.
No, you want to know why? It's because, I don't know if you heard my entire way. It's so that Rumple could have Neil back.
I could see that.
It's so he had Neil. Mm-hmm. But he had Baby Neil. And, him and the author, when they're talking about your other son, Belle doesn't know about other Neil in this world. Yeah. Or in that Misthaven land.
Oh, yeah. It was made very clear that it was a secret.
It was a secret. Mm-hmm. So maybe, so she thinks nothing of it that the baby's name is Neil.
Patty says everyone can resurrect except for Neil and Cora.
Seriously. No, but at least Cora comes in flashback.
Nobody can resurrect until the writers want them to be resurrected, and then they find a way. Resurrection finds a way.
All right, last but certainly not least, Will Scarlet.
Bloody hell,
Will Scarlet. Tangent. Why
didn't the author age from 1966 to 1983? Because there's a. Well, he did a little bit, bit. Yeah, you can see a little bit more gray in his hair and stuff.
His lines were deeper.
But also keep in mind that, there's some wonky time stuff going on with this realm jumping too, and we got some impressions that certain realms are kind of locked in time or locked into a certain decade. Right. So maybe when he's in one of those realms, maybe his age kind of stops or something like that.
I can see that. Okay, but. So Robin Hood's best man was Will Scarlet at the wedding. Okay, there was our only glimpse. Hope everybody enjoyed seeing him for 12 seconds, if that. But then the name check. Will is watching Roland? What? I think apparently he's been taking babysitting lessons from Belle because that's literally all they do on the show is watch babies.
Well, maybe that's why they work so well together until they don't at the end of this episode.
Until Belle says, I don't love Will.
Yeah,
I have a whole point on that.
He was just my rebound, more or less, is what she tells Rumple.
Yeah, well,
I was just biding time until you fixed yourself, Rumple.
Yeah, and you didn't.
More or less. But okay, so we'll have some more exciting stuff to talk about this Project Finale, Project Mongoose finale.
I was like Project Runway.
But first, we want to tell you guys a little bit about our Patreon. Anne-Marie, why don't you do that right now?
All right. Well, welcome. Our Patreon is to support our 3 weekly podcasts. Things are a little wonky here at the end of the season and with trips and stuff, but we will get back to 3 weekly podcasts sooner rather than later, I'm sure. We've been trying to expand and improve our content, and the only way that we're really going to be able to do that is with your help. You can, you over there, give me your money. No, you can donate anything from 10 cents up per month. It's a regular, withdrawal from your account. Over at patreon.com/universebox. You're going to get a whole slew of exclusive content. You're going to be invited to our patron only hangouts. You're going to, we're going to be starting soon because our patron exclusive movie commentaries, because we're like $35 away from getting that. I think you guys can do it. Also, I think Bill would like to point out this one goal that we've got.
I thought people might like this. One of our new milestones that we've added is if we can get up to $325 per month, we will commit to doing a fan cast for the first season of Lost.
Just a whole separate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll do.
We'll start watching Lost
in original watch, like our first time. So if you want to hear our crazy theories about something that how it ends.
Yeah, and we have no clue whatsoever.
Yeah, I think that would be fun, especially for a summer project for sure.
Help us get there.
And one word too. Once we hit these milestone goals, if you have to pull back your donation or something back, like a little bit. The milestone goal still got hit. We're still doing the thing.
We're still doing it, yeah.
So, if you want to see that, say if there was an individual out there who wanted to see us do a Lost fan cast, they could literally just, kick in to 325. We hit the milestone, and then we do it.
We hit the milestone, we run their card, then they can pull back.
Yeah, and then you can pull back to like $1 a month or something.
Yeah,
but you can basically underwrite our Lost fan cast.
Yeah, we would love to do it. We just... There has to be the incentive and the assistance.
Yeah. Other Anne-Marie says she has to make it to one of our patron hangouts soon.
Yes,
for
you
sure.
do. We are going to be scheduling our next patron hangout soon. And it's probably going to be on a weeknight because they've always been on weekends.
Yeah, so we want to give everyone a chance.
Different people have different availability, so yeah. But like I said, support us over at patreon.com/universebox to make a monthly pledge. Or if you go over to YouTube, there is the opportunity to make a one-time donation, which we will take into account with those milestones.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So if somebody wrote you a check for an extra $50 a month, and you're like, hey, I can give $25 of that to the people at Greetings from Storybrooke. Oh, hey, the button. It's over there.
Yeah, it'll be right there.
It'll be right here.
Right in the corner.
Right there. We would really appreciate any support we could get. And one little thing, if you can't support us right now, share us.
Yeah, share us with your friends.
Share us with your friends. Tell your people, hey, I'm listening to this podcast. You should check it out.
That's a great way to support us, too.
That is a really great way to support us.
Okay, now before I know we said we weren't going to say anything about RegalCon, but
we lied.
Anne-Marie sent a special message to the people of the attendees of RegalCon since she couldn't be there, and we thought, it's going to be a couple more days until we get our panel out and everything, but we thought you guys might want to see it, so we'll play it real quick right now, and then
we'll be back.
We'll be back, exactly.
Because, Frozen happened. So I've got Kristoff. Spoilers! He's the author. I've got my tea. I've got my Emma and Neil. Bring back Neil. I need Neil back. Hi, Kristoff. I should be a Regal too. Spoilers! Blue is gonna become the dark one. She's kind of already the dark one, though. But no, she's really going to become the dark one. And Rumpelstiltskin is German. He's German. And Emma's going to become a fairy. And Henry is actually going to turn into a lizard.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah, and Harry in the chat room says, I thought Anne-Marie was going to go Zelina Green for the first time I watched this. But
I should have done that.
Totally. I could have even done that in post.
You'd have had to. I don't have any green makeup.
Definitely. I could have just replaced olive skin with green skin, and it would have been perfect. Yeah. But like I said, we're not going to play the panel right now because I don't have the video file yet. They haven't sent it over to me yet, but it should be sometime in the next couple days. So what we're going to do is as soon as I get it, I'll schedule a live event.
For the next day.
Yeah, for the next day. And what we'll do is we'll come on and we'll intro it, and then we'll play it, and we'll hang out in the chat room the whole time and chat with you. And then afterwards, there will be story time, RegalCon story time. So I'll tell, I'll go 20, 30 minutes or something and just tell you guys all the cool stuff that happened. I don't know if Liz is in chat or not.
She's not.
Okay.
Liz is not in the chat, but tell them what you did.
I did the face and the place, and that's all I'm going to say. I did the face and the place, and we'll talk about it more after our live RegalCon panel episode.
I think they're enjoying. I think they like me. They
the video. Nice. Your creepy video. Yeah, and if you're an audio listener, worth it.
You have to watch the video.
Yeah, go to youtube.universebox.com and check it out. It's like a greetings to RegalCon, I think.
Greetings to RegalCon.
The title is a special message from Anne-Marie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I wonder if this will be on the season 4 DVD. That would be fantastic, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah, but
they should have played it again before the finale because it's just that awesome.
They should have. They should have played it instead of the finale.
I could have been discovered.
Could have been discovered. Okay, Heroes and Villains, the book. By Isaac, whatever his last name is. I'm blanking on it right now. Okay, so this book that he wrote, I really hope that, how sometimes they'll do kind of like tied in, like Doctor Who did the River Psalm book from Angels Take Manhattan.
Yes.
I would love for them to release a novel or novella or something of Heroes and Villains, the book. Just because I have so many questions about this story. First of all, whose story is it? It ends with Robin Hood's wedding, but Rumpel seems like a big focus in the story too, and Regina and Snow and everyone. Have characters like Rumpel always been good in this world, or are they villains that become heroes throughout the course of the story? Because that would be a really cool progression too, to see how Rumpel went from the dark one to the light one, while losing Neil along the way. Obviously.
Right, like what happened?
Yeah, and so I definitely like to know how did he get dark magic and turn it to light magic and everything. And I always assumed, since this premise came up last half season, that villains getting their happy endings would involve them acting like villains and winning anyway. But it really doesn't seem to be the case here. It seems more, because it just seems more flip-floppy opposite day sort of thing.
Yeah, that was one of my issues, because I'm like, this is not a villain getting their happy ending. This is a villain becoming a hero.
Yeah.
And that's a completely different premise.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So there has to be some sort of a transformation throughout the book.
Yeah, which is another reason that I would love to read it, just to see what that transformation. And I even other little details, like what about Cora? Why did she abandon Regina instead of Zelena? And why was Zelena hanging out in a bar or something? Instead of trying to ascend to the throne.
Right. What happened with that?
Yeah.
But, well, there has
Did
to
Snow
be
marry her dad? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, no. Snow is married to Charming, but just controls him.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught that. I was making sure.
I did. Okay. I definitely did. And, one other thing that kind of stuck with me a little bit is right there at the beginning when they first go into the heroes and villains world. Why doesn't Henry just ask the hero version of Rumpel for help? I mean, he has the book there. He obviously knows, what Rumpel's deal is, that he's a hero in this universe. So why doesn't he just ask the hero for help? Because Rumpel's a hero. He would have saved the day, right? I think it was really like Isaac's presentation to him, in combination with, I think when Belle dropped the teacup, it kind of woke something up in his head, and he was like, oh, wait a second, that's right, I am a villain.
I am the bad guy.
Yeah, and that's kind of what spurred him on to his final actions with the sword fights, which was really cool.
It was so good.
That Emma Rumpel sword fight was amazing, for sure.
All of her action sequences and everything were amazing. Yeah,
and it was cool to see her be kind of like a old school fairy tale land kind of person too, and it was cool to see Henry finally make it to fairy tale land.
I know. I was like, 4 years to get this kid in Misthaven. It's all he's ever wanted. And
then it wasn't even the right one.
Nope.
But no, ABC put out a Heroes and Villains book. That's all I'm saying.
Please. We'll buy it. A couple of it. We'll give some away. Okay. One of the biggest mistakes that I think Isaac made was to show Henry the book. Like the actual book. He's like, oh no, they're all right here in this book that I wrote with the magical ink. Like,
here's the magical
Henry
book.
knows how this works.
Mm-hmm.
He's not dumb. Like, what you showed him that you're carrying around the book. You sort of gave it away, but and then like, did he drag Isaac with him when he went into the book, or did he drop the key and Isaac had to chase him to try and save everything?
I had a feeling that the key was intended for Isaac, so I kind of felt like Henry got sucked up in the thing that was pulling Isaac in. You know, not the other. Yeah, I don't think that Isaac was caught in the backdraft of Henry traveling into the book. I think Isaac was being pulled into the book, and Henry just happened between the book and Isaac.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Totally.
Sage of Eartha wonders if Rumpel has a white heart. Does that mean he's the savior? I don't know. I think.
See, I was wondering about the white heart. I was like, that doesn't make sense. You still are a person. You should have blood.
yeah, you'd think. Mm-hmm. But that's a good question. It's going to be interesting to see if Rumpel has any sort of magical abilities or anything after
or if they let him live.
Yeah, that too. Well, I have some theories about that.
Oh yeah.
But okay, was that it?
Yeah, that's
okay.
It. That was a short one. Sorry.
So, meta. This episode was very meta in a lot of different ways. First of all, just the fact that it was like the whole premise of the episode was like kind of like a pro level fanfic or something like that.
It seriously was.
Yeah, for sure. But I first of all, I love, and a lot of people caught this, but I wanted to make sure to mention it in case you didn't, listener, forever constant listener. I love that they set the story right after Walt Disney's death, thereby making him the guy who had the job right before Isaac.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting because that means that all the Disney movies, that was how it was before Isaac got involved and started like messing with things. That's how the stories originally went down. Kind of thing, which
that's
I think
even
is
better.
Yeah, which I think is kind of cool. And I mean that's kind of just like the base level of meta that's going on in this episode. The Heroes and Villains Con, obviously, I went to RegalCon this past weekend.
Right.
Very, very similar. RegalCon was basically like that. In that whole section, when I was watching the finale with everyone, played great in the room too.
Did it?
Oh yeah, like gangbusters.
How many of the girls there were the "Long Live Regina" button?
Well, they actually had different buttons around that said "All magic comes with a price."
Oh, they didn't have Gil's dance crew?
No, Gil's dance crew. Oh, don't get me started. No, Gil was a really good guy. Prince Eric, he was a nice guy, though. A little bit swarmy, some people said.
Smarmy?
Smarmy.
Not
Smarmy.
Smarmy's a whole different thing.
But I'm assuming that whole convention sequence, that Heroes and Villains convention or event or whatever, is basically how the creators see the fans, which isn't really cruel or anything.
No, it's
funny. You know, they see them as passionate, devoted, looking for spoilers, dressed up in cosplay, all that kind of stuff.
I loved that. The people in the big gowns. I was like, yes.
Yeah, and the Evil Regal giving him the button that kind of got him in trouble in Fairy Tale Land was a really nice touch too. And you could definitely tell that it was a conversation that the creators have had with a fan before, about Regina and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And I also love that the book Heroes and Villains has the same basic mission statement as Once Upon a Time. Something fairy tales, but something different for a modern audience, which is basically the show we watch.
That is the show, yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. I also felt a little bit like the author was maybe meant to represent what would happen if a Once Upon a Time fan got a hold of the story. Like he might get... they would arrange it to get everything out of the show they ever wanted, but it wouldn't hang together as, like his boss says, as a story people want to read or want to hear. Because everyone has a the things they want. Like obviously, I'd be completely happy if this became Captain Hook and Emma's adventures through the multiverse of Once Upon a Time. But that might not be the story that they want to tell or that other people want to hear. And so I think what they're saying with the author is, yeah, you could have everything you wanted in the story, but it wouldn't make it a good story. It still has to have all these elements that add up to a good story, like, suspense and this, that, and the other. And if you're getting everything you want, it's just not a good story anymore.
Right.
So I thought very meta, and I thought that was pretty interesting too. Oh yeah, and Other Anne-Marie says, I totally thought that Bill, RegalCon, and Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and Sage of Earth says, I'm guessing Isaac was chosen as the author because George Lucas wasn't available.
I could see that. Yeah.
I think he botched up his book too. From what I've heard, I'm not a Star Wars fan or anything.
Nice. True love's kiss, true love's kiss, true love's flipping kiss. Anybody tired of hearing about true love's kiss solving all the world's problems?
Never.
Just me?
Never.
Okay, just me
Never.
apparently. I was like, what are you pulling up over there? I just feels a little like they're a little confused as to how true love's kiss works. From what we've been told and what I understand, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's supposed to work on curses and potions and sicknesses and stuff. That's not what this is. This was just somebody wrote it this way. So until
Well, I think
it's not a curse.
I think the intention was the book ends with Robin finding true love and getting married and everything. So if Regina gives him true love's kiss, then he's obviously going to realize he's not in love with Zelina, and that kind of ends up happening anyway at the end. So it's almost like, does it even matter if Henry writes that or not? Because didn't they already like alter the story enough?
Yeah, but Regina died.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true too.
Or was dying.
Dying in the process of dying.
You won't die alone. Nobody is going to die alone in this show. So there's that.
There is that. Okay. So we should probably talk a little bit about the character reversal. Oh, let's see. Angel says, but I thought true love's kiss didn't work if the other person doesn't exactly remember the other. Which is true, but we did kind of see an indication there too that Robin and Regina remembered their love a little bit.
You could see it. You could see it. And yes, Harry, it should have been J.K. Rowling. Coming soon, Harry Potter episode of Universe Box. Check it out.
You're a chatter, Harry. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the character reversals in the Heroes and Villains universe. Just a couple that I really liked. The first one was Wimpy Hook. I really enjoyed Wimpy Hook.
Oh, Wimpy Hook. He's so, like, emotional.
Well, it's the most interesting the character's been the entire season.
Well, yeah, we have a lot of that.
I also really enjoyed the confident Emma kind of teaching Hook, the timid Hook. Great reversal. It kind of felt like, those scenes you see in romantic comedies where the guy is teaching the girl how to golf or something like that.
Yeah.
But so I thought that was a lot of fun. It was cool to see... just see Hook kind of get a chance to play something different than his normal hooky self.
Well, and like he's gone through a bit of a transformation over the past couple seasons, but this was the biggest change that he's made. Like he's always still has the pirate ways, even though he's switched from being a villain to being a hero.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the other one I really, really enjoyed was Bandit Regina. I thought Lana did a great job with this one.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, and I know I wasn't going to talk about RegalCon, but I'll only talk about RegalCon every 2 minutes. One of the things she said in her interview was that she approaches every time period in Regina's life as a completely separate character. And I mean, you
have to.
I think this version of Regina, you could see that even more. Like there were times when facial expressions she made in stuff that I was like, she doesn't look like Lana anymore at all. And I thought that was really, really cool. Although I did think it was funny that she was still complaining about, I'm not the type of person who gets a happy ending. She's still complaining or blaming somebody else for a crappy life. So I guess things didn't change that much,
Well, I mean, again, you can't change the root of a person.
Yeah.
And that's just how, after X amount of years she's felt about herself, you can't write that out of you.
Yeah, but I definitely thought that was one of my favorites in the episode. You in the chat room can feel free to weigh in too. But Anne Marie, what were some of your favorites?
Snow. She, in my notes I even wrote, I think she felt more evil and more creepy than Evil Queen Regina.
Oh yeah, I wrote that in my notes too. Yeah, she was just bloodthirsty.
And because she was very calm and collected and just do it.
Yeah.
Can you, Charming, get in here! Disarm him. Cut off his head, whatever. Be like, oh, I need to show you how to do this. Goodbye, dwarf.
Goodbye.
Adios, Doc.
Was it? Yeah, was it Doc?
It was Doc.
Yeah. The Blue Knight says, "Hook and the goat milk."
Oh, the poor goat milk.
I thought that was funny. I'm allergic to that. I'm allergic to that, love. Any others that you particularly liked? I like the Dark Dwarves. Hi-ho, boys.
Hi-ho, boys. Yeah, that was pretty good.
And it just the really creepy whistling, the horror movie whistling.
Yeah, that was really good. Not that it was really reversally, but I liked the different approach to Zelina. Slightly different approach, though, again, the same emotions and behaviors are ingrained in the character. What are you seeing over there?
Oh, I'm just, I was just watching some people weigh in. A lot of people agree with Snow, the Council of Evil, definitely.
The Council of Evil, yes.
Including Evil Granny.
Oh, Evil Granny.
Which, by the way, Beverly was very nice.
Beverly looked awesome.
Super nice.
Yeah. Okay, let me go back to Snow for a second. Ginny seemed rejuvenated in this episode. All over. Like, even
for sure.
as Snow, she felt like the actress before she got pregnant. She felt like that character back. So maybe it's been long enough that she's feeling better and more like herself, because really it takes a while, guys.
Yeah, and Angel says that she finally got more interesting too. So
they gave her something to do. They haven't been giving, like, they've been pinhole. I don't really know what the proper term is, but they've only been focusing on like a few people and their issues, but they're not giving anyone else who are main cast anything to work with. Even if I'm okay if you only have one or two like little scenes, give them something worthwhile to do there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which leads me to my next rant about Belle.
Oh, and Bobby mentions Bandit Regal. Every time Lana Parrilla gets to play a different version of Regina, she friggin' nails it. Very
She really
true.
does. Like, I don't think she's had a bad part yet.
And of course, Evil Grumpy Other Anne-Marie says, trivia, by the way, Lee Ehrenberg pretty much talks like a surfer dude a lot of the time.
Yeah,
it's kind of fun.
Everything we watched this stream, I was like, that's hilarious.
He also drops some mad wisdom on acting, too.
Mad wisdom and mad language.
Actually, we will be publishing a video of one of the press conferences they did there, where he talks a bit about acting and stuff like that, too, which is pretty fun. I said, I'm not talking about RegalCon, Anne-Marie.
Except that you are. Okay, Belle. Okay, so she's involved in pretty major storylines here, right? Right? She still feels very weak and underused to me, and it's making me mad. Because I love this character. I love everything this character does. They're just not giving her anything to do.
Yeah.
Like, nothing to do. So, like, she's had this relationship with Will that we haven't gotten to see grow in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's just been kind of like
it's been
a little
floating.
bit on the sidelines.
It's been floating. Sidelines, but not. I mean, she's bringing him a sandwich. They're doing this. They're doing that. And it's still weird because we don't know what went on with Will and Anastasia. Because last scene, he was married.
Last we knew.
Last we knew. And now he's, working on winning her heart, as he tells Rumple. Wolf could ever take down Granny. Nice. Let's see. I want the more adventurous Bill. Bill.
The more adventurous Bill.
The more adventurous Belle, like when I don't even remember who she was going after now, but when she was in a sense Bandit Belle, that person like carrying books around, I liked that character. I want more of that back. I would even take more Lacey just to get her to have a good storyline that involves something other than being lied to or taking care of Rumple.
Yeah.
And rant.
Well, like I thought it was
reopen rant.
What do you think? what do you think about her reaction there at the end with Rumple? Like, because obviously, there is a guy underneath there that she was seeing past an actual like entity, the Dark One, and knew that she loved. But like, I don't know. Do you think that absolves Rumple?
No.
You don't?
No, not completely.
Well, I guess we have to wait and see how it affects Emma too. Because if Emma goes off the rails, then it probably wasn't as much Rumple's thought as we always.
Well, and we have to see how Rumple is when he comes back.
Very true too.
Because I mean, he was already a bit of a liar.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, not before the Dark One.
Well, he was cowardly, which sort of led to fibs and he was a liar because he, hurt himself to get out of the Ogre Wars, and
there were extenuating circumstances. He thought that. What wasn't it like? He thought he was going to die and leave his wife and son alone, and that's why he did it, right? He crippled himself.
Yeah.
It was kind of like altruistic reasons. I mean, I don't think
What's altruism? Sorry.
I don't think he, especially towards his loved ones, I don't think he made any sort of immoral decisions until after the Dark One thing happened.
Okay. That's fair.
That's just from what I remember, though. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
Bye, Other Anne-Marie.
Bye, Other Anne-Marie. I know. We're going to run really long tonight.
Yeah, it happens.
It does. It does.
So one thing, it's not in my points here. I just wanted to mention, just from a production standpoint. Wait, you know what? I think it is in my points here. Okay, so we'll wait. Okay, I have some predictions for what's going to go down next season. So Holly says yes, agrees with me. Okay, let's see here. so some predictions based on what went down in this episode, plus kind of what I've felt they've been working with thematically and everything over the course of the whole season. I think next fall, it's how it's going to start out. And there's a character that could be here, could not be here, depending. But I think Regina, Robin, Hook, Belle, and Rumple will leave Storybrooke and travel the realms. And leave Storybrooke in the hands of Maleficent as the new mayor, while they go out and search for Merlin and Emma. Maybe Lily might go with them if Merlin or King Arthur is involved in her father's story, since there were dragons in Camelot and everything.
How is Emma realm jumping?
Oh, did I say Emma?
You said Merlin/Emma.
Yeah. I'm assuming that Emma got sucked into another realm. Maybe she got sucked back to Misthaven, or maybe she got sucked over into Camelot or something. I'm assuming she's not in Storybrooke anymore.
Okay.
That's the assumption I have going on here.
Okay.
But so I think maybe Lily could be involved too, since we know that she's going to be doing the search for her father,
Right.
Pete's Dragon.
Pete's Dragon.
Yeah.
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Yeah. Puff the Magic Dragon. Does Disney own the rights to that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Just saying.
But Peter, Paul, and Mary could probably be bought out relatively cheaply, maybe. But I also think, it's very likely that it could be the same group I just mentioned, minus Rumple, because I have a feeling that since they put him in like preservation mode, that maybe Robert Carlyle's going to run off for a few months at the beginning of the season and go to a film or something like that, because I have a feeling he's probably getting pretty itchy, because he's a film actor and a stage actor, and he's been locked into the show for 4 years now.
Right, because he's been the lead.
But it feels like writing Rumple is like in this preserved state, almost looking like a corpse.
It gives him that option.
Yeah, it gives him an opportunity to go out for a couple months and then come back into the story later on.
Maybe filmed a few scenes ahead of time, or comes in for like 3 days or whatever to do something.
Yeah, but I still definitely I would love to see just kind of like realm jumping for one season, or at least a half season, which is something I've been calling for since season 2, I think.
Right.
So. And I also, is the apprentice dead? I couldn't tell if he died or if he just like passed out after being like, Merlin.
I think he just passed out.
Merlin.
Why would they have made him comfortable?
Yeah.
They left Rumple on the floor, but we made the apprentice comfortable.
Well, Rumple's in preservation state.
Still, he's preserved.
Well, assuming that the apprentice isn't dead, I think he's going to end up being Henry's sort of Obi-Wan kind of a...
They can make that reference.
Yeah, almost like the apprentice's apprentice or something like that. Like he'll be the apprentice's apprentice. Because obviously, yeah, he broke the pen, but I think there's going to be some more training involved. And then...
No, because even when he... And I think this is like literally... Hold on. Scrolling. Okay, yeah, this is actually my next thing, so I'll hold on.
Okay, no, you can go ahead and
all right, we'll transition
to that.
Henry the author. Not really surprised, not overly excited. Just because it was such not a surprise, and 75% of this episode was a surprise.
Yeah, people have been calling that forever, right?
Forever.
You know
what I wanted? Forever. I wanted Belle. I was on Team Amy P, where we wanted Belle to be the new author. But it just felt really predictable, since he is the next generation of the royal family, no matter what way you spin it or what world he's in. But a twist like Belle, which, I mean, I guess it's not really twisty because we've been calling stuff like that for a while, would have been really nice. But I think maybe just getting it out of that bloodline. So, or to not make them be everything.
Yeah.
They're everything. They're...
But it does kind of make a bit of sense too.
Well, it gives him something to do.
Well, it just because he's the one who found the book in the first place, and he's always the one that like brings everyone back to the center and back to everything. Like it does make a bit of sense. I'll be interested to see how they kind of play that out. Like they could completely drop it too. They could just be like, "Oh, we broke the pen. It's done."
No, because when he's talking to...
Well, I guess because, the author could whittle a new pen and stuff in the woods we saw a few episodes back. So, I mean...
Not in those woods. They have to be... It has to be wood.
It has to be enchanted wood.
It has to be enchanted wood. But I love, like, when he's sitting there talking to the apprentice and he snaps the pen, basically, when he finds out he can't bring his dad back. He's like, nobody gets that power. And he said, I think we finally have somebody good for the job. That's a little confusing. What's the job now?
Yeah,
he's obviously not writing anything down.
Well, I think what is it? in war or in politics, the leader you want is the one that doesn't want to be a leader, because the reluctant leader, because that's the one who's going to rule and manage and judge things fairly. So I think that's what The Apprentice was getting at. Okay. Harry here in the chat room says, I hope we have a chance to see Emma as the big bad in the next season, because it seems like Rumple let the darkness become too strong within him. So it might be hard for Emma to keep from getting dark herself. Like, that would be an interesting
But they have the dagger. Sorry.
But that would be an interesting thing to do, though, is just to like completely like flip the script, kind of like they did in this one, but in reality, to where the main good guy in the show becomes the main bad guy, and then all the bad guys from the past several seasons are trying to defeat the previous good guy, the savior.
Yeah.
Although I wonder if Emma's still going to have savior powers on top of Dark One powers. She will be
this power.
She will be the gray one, the dark one and the light one,
she
the
will
gray
be the shiny one.
the gray one.
Okay, so Adam and Eddie had an interview and said someone would die in the finale. Yes, Stephanie, people did die in the finale. They just brought them
But then
back.
they undied.
They undied.
Yeah,
I have issues with that. We didn't really even get into it.
Well, I was very upset too, just because like we were promised a big death in this episode. We
didn't get it.
Yeah, it didn't come like
No.
at all.
Not at all.
Like I don't know, unless Emma's actually dead now, but I doubt.
No, because her name's on the dagger.
Well, I'm just saying because she's off screen right now. Like that's the only person that could potentially even be dead permanently in this, I think, because everyone else got reversed back when they reversed back the reality.
I hate that they did that.
You hate that they did that?
I hate that they like.
Well, I kind of saw it as like kind of like in Doctor Who, where they have like soft time and hard time and fixed events and all that kind of stuff.
Fixed points in time.
Like once Robin and Zelena happily ever after marriage happens, then it's locked and it can't be changed. But until then, it's all in flux, So
yeah. Okay.
So I kind of dug that. But getting back to Henry, maybe talk a little bit.
Emma's confirmed to be Gandalf the Grey.
Excellent. I like that. The Blue Knight. The Blue Knight. Okay, so Henry the hero. Henry obviously was pretty much the main character of this episode.
I loved that.
And it was great acting from Jared Gilmore. For example, the Regina knife scene was fantastic, where she holds the knife to his throat and everything. It just absolutely fantastic. And I really think it was probably his best work since he was playing like Panry, the pan-possessed Henry.
Yes, I loved
body.
Panry.
Now, I noticed that, something I noticed here that it makes a lot of sense too, again, with Henry, kind of graduating to a bigger role in the universe and everything, that all of the skills he used throughout this episode to win the day are things that he's learned while training with people like Captain Hook, Charming, Rumple, Neil, and Pan. All of his dads and granddads, basically. And then he uses those skills to save his mothers. Too many relatives for sure.
The tree does this.
It does. It's like interlocked fingers, more or less. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting that, even though Emma's been the main character this entire series, we've kind of got like a full arc for Henry from the beginning to the end of him picking up all these skill sets that without him learning all those things, it would have been impossible for him to save the day. I mean, the heroes would have died.
He could have never driven that car very, very fast and parked horribly.
Exactly. Because, David taught him how to drive.
David taught him how to drive. Didn't he, knock over a, mailbox or something? Or hit a car?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I was like, that was not a good lesson.
He got better. He got better.
Blue Knight, we do have some Doctor Who commentaries if you look on the site.
We did.
We've fallen off a little.
We did the 50th anniversary and we did
special.
in the Christmas special.
The last Christmas special.
Time of the Doctor. Yeah. And I also I thought it was interesting that means that the heroes, all the greatest heroes and villains of the realm, created Henry the hero, both genetically and metaphorically, or practically. So yeah, really good job, Jared Gilmore. Hooray!
Yay.
Who was also at the finale.
Snuck in. He was one of the sneak-ins. I will say, that's one of the few times we've ever seen a good job, Jared Gilmore. But again, they haven't been giving you enough to do.
Well, I actually, one of my notes was after the ogre attack and everything, when the author's coming back, I hope Henry's dead. I hope Henry's dead. I hope Henry's dead. I was like, that's 45% of the one's fandom, at least, at certain points.
At one time or another, we've all been like, please don't die.
No offense to Jared Gilmore.
No, not even remotely. But your character hasn't gotten to do anything. Okay,
But
villains.
I really think though, like my perspective on Henry for the entire series kind of changed with that kind of tying back in thing that I noticed in this episode about how all these skills he had were taught to him by all the main characters. So.
That is pretty cool. All right, we're just going to end our discussion on a little slightly quote. I'm not sure if I got every word.
We're already an hour in.
I know. Our definition of villains, as said by Mary Margaret Snow White. Villains make themselves happy at the expense of others. They make themselves more unhappy. I know what it's like to feel your heart go dark, and that's not something to idolize. It's something to pity. Obviously, I've done that no justice, but I loved that.
Oh, yeah,
it was
for sure.
a beautiful way to sort of wrap things up.
Yeah, and it was a really good close to the author's kind of arc that he's got this half season too.
You done, yo.
Well, I'm actually hoping he sticks around. Like, I mean, he's obviously done as the author, and he's probably going to be locked up with Selena and all the rest and everything.
And the rest.
But I really hope he remains a presence in the world because I really liked his character. Just because he was a fun character and he was the classic sort of like disgruntled artist type, which is kind of fun archetype to play with. Plus the guy who plays him is just so creepy.
He's perfect.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, just look at his face. It's a great face.
And there's our new face.
Isaac face. Coming to you in 2016. No, I paused the episode trying to get the main title thing for the episode, and I saw that face, so I just had to pull it out there. Definitely. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Arbitrary scale. Okay, Anne-Marie, out of 7 dark dwarfs. Wait, no 6. No, 7 again. Out of 7 dark dwarfs, how many dark dwarves do you give this episode?
Okay.
Dwarves? Dwarves?
Dwarves.
Dwarves? Harry likes Henry. That's just because they're both H names. 7 dark dwarves. Is it going to happen?
I think it's going to happen.
Hold on, wait a second. Let's get Anne-Marie Cam up here. Is it going to happen? What's going to happen?
It's 7 dark dwarves.
You're giving it 7 dark dwarves?
I'm giving it a perfect score.
You're giving it a perfect score.
Things I've never, ever done.
Please explain.
Okay, it left me like this. Really? Does he take my camera off when I go to do the face? I truly feel this is one of the best episodes. We didn't rate the first season because we didn't podcast the first season, so I can't do anything. But this was an amazing episode. Like, I was watching it just enough ahead of you, and I just kept going, oh my God.
Yeah, because
I mean, if you follow my personal account on Twitter, I can't say what I said because we don't use that kind of language here, but it included this face.
It was holy beat.
Expletive. No.
Oh, no.
No, it was worse than that. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Holy. Yeah.
Oh, let's see here. Charles says, hey, guys, I just wanted to let you know that my teacher got to meet Hank, Isaac's boss, a few days ago in Vancouver.
Score!
Very cool, Charles. And
I didn't even know there was a Charles in the chat tonight.
The Blue Knight says dwarves for sure.
Oh, he just came in. Got it.
Bobby's giving it 6 dark dwarves. As for me, yeah, I'm probably going to have to go 7 dark dwarves, too.
7 dark dwarves! Woo!
Plus a stealthy.
Oh, rest in peace, stealthy.
Rip stealthy.
Rip stealthy. Pour one out.
Pour one out for stealthy. Right down my own throat. It's just water, though. I'm switching to the liquor for the feedback. Not liquor, actually. Okay. Yeah. No, but let's see here.
So Harry gives it 6.5 dark dwarves. I legit cheered when Emma finally decked him. That was good. That was absolutely beautiful.
That was amazing. And any other ratings here?
Anyone else to rate?
Any other ratings?
Angel, Akon, Holly Mack, Sage.
Okay, well, I'm sure those will be coming in a minute. So now, I guess.
6.8 from Stephanie.
6.8?
What are you doing? Leaving off a leg? Just give him the leg to stand on.
No, Dobie's just a little shorter than the other one, so it doesn't quite equal 7. By the way, all the dwarves were very nice at RegalCon too.
Nice.
And now, on to the news. News. We just got a couple more in. Angel 6.5. The Blue Knight wants to rate it 7.5 dwarves.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
Well, that 0.5 is the stealthy because you can't see him barely because he's stealthy. So he's kind of not there. Yeah. And He's dead.
He's dead.
And Charles M is going way off the
Oh,
scale.
he's going
8 Dark Dwarves.
Holly's giving it 7. This might be the most consensus.
Although they all spelled dwarves right, where I didn't. 142 Dark Dwarves. I'm giving it. Done. Okay,
So,
first up the ratings. ABC's season finale of Once Upon a Time won in its 2-hour time slot by 42% over its nearest broadcast competitor in adults 18 to 49, ranking number 1 against its regular competitor on each of its last 10 original episodes this season. Once Upon a Time was up for the 3rd week in total viewers, plus 2%, to a 6-week high, and steady with adults 18 to 49 to tie a 7-week high since 3/29/15 and 3/22/15, respectively. It also got adjusted up today.
Really?
The ratings got adjusted up to a 1.8 rating with a 6 share and 5.51 million viewers. So they went out on top like they did last year, too.
Nice.
So it'll be good. Okay, and
That's
then
a huge adjust up, too.
yeah, and then in other news, Once Upon a Time, and we've kind of implied this throughout the episode, officially renewed.
Woohoo!
Yep. Once Upon a Time has been officially renewed for 22 episodes for the 5th season, which
to get to them to the magical 100th episode.
Yeah, and as we've seen the past couple seasons, they're more than willing to do a couple double episodes and increase that order a little bit too.
Where needed, yeah.
Yeah, so it should be fun.
Usually season or mid-season finales.
Mm-hmm. Stephanie says I couldn't give it 7 because I've liked other episodes a little better. Fair enough.
That's fine.
Fair enough.
We're okay
Some
with
people had issues with it, and you can get the links for all these stories in the show notes at greetingsfromstorybrooke.com. And one other thing we wanted to point out here is just that we have a bunch of RegalCon coverage of so far. Like basically all you have to do is just go to our homepage at greetingsfromstorybrooke.com, and right up here at the top it says RegalCon 2015. It has Whale and August and Lee and the hosts from the event.
Yes.
There, and just click there. And
I'd like that you go character name, real name, host. You never called anybody by like.
I know that was intentional.
Oh, okay.
That was intentional. But I did I did a big blog post for every day. I still have to do the day 3 one. I'm going to do that tomorrow. But I also have some press conference stuff, a bunch of just a fun little music video with a bunch of cosplay and stuff. But a bunch of content to put up there. So if you want to check that out, and like I said, we'll have the panel, and I also did a panel called Heroes and Villains with what's his name? I just blanked on Jeff from Once Upon a Time fan podcast, who was also on the Greetings panel, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, and see, we actually, I don't know if Patty in the chat room saw this, but Patty gave us this little Mickey Mouse Sorcerer's Apprentice little toy several months back, and so I took it with me to RegalCon, and
he met people.
Yeah, tweeted out hashtag The Apprentice, and it had pictures taken with a bunch of different people, like all throughout the weekend. So a lot of fun, and we're going to be putting more content from RegalCon out there as the week winds down here, and I get it all sorted, and I get a little more rested up and everything.
Charles is saying he thinks that it's going to have 6 seasons like Lost. It could, because we all know that there's a lot of crossover.
Yeah. Although I guess if you count Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, it already kind of has had.
We can't count Once Upon a Time in Wonderland.
Yeah, some people do, some people don't.
Yeah, I don't. And Angel said that she's hoping for the upcoming season to do a full season arc instead of this half season stuff.
Me
agreed.
Too. Yeah, definitely.
So agreed.
Because it's been since season 2.
Yeah.
Since and Patty says she saw it. Awesome.
Yay.
Okay, so next week when you're done not watching the episode, you know what? Take a break. It's fine. You don't need to contact us at all.
I mean, you can.
Absolutely. Do not email us. greetingsfromstorybrooke@gmail.com.
Email me.
Don't tweet us at GFStorybrooke. Absolutely do not visit our Facebook, facebook.com/greetingsfromstorybrooke. And the voicemail number, if you call this seriously, will block you. 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. And as always, we're going to start off with Bobby. Take it away, Bobby.
Hey, Bill and Anne-Marie, it's Bobby. I really love this episode of Once Upon a Time. I feel like one of this show's greatest strengths is its season finales. They do a good job of, before the finale, they'll tie up any B and C storylines that have developed through the season, then leaving the finale just for, the storyline that has been driving the season, making it almost like a thesis statement, and then they'll use the third act to bring it all home and show us where we're going in the next season. It's a formula that works really well, and I just really love it. As far as the once if part of this episode,
I do like how we were No, don't do half seasons anymore. Bobby's first point, love half seasons.
Oh,
Episode.
Bobby.
At first, I thought while entertaining, it was all just like all glamour. You know, while it was cool to see like the actors get to play up the different aspects of of their characters that they don't get to play out week to week. There were no ramifications. You know, anything that happened was just reversed as soon as as soon as it was reversed.
See, I kind of disagree here because I think the whole reversal thing, I think it made the episode hang together dramatically because if we had known that going in, then we wouldn't have felt as an audience that there were real stakes.
Yeah.
You know, like when they killed Hook, when Charming killed Hook, it felt like, oh my God, they just killed Hook, one of my favorite characters on this show. Like, oh, this was the big death and everything.
And then I cheered.
But if they had set up that, death would be reversed if the book was reversed and if the curse was reversed. But, if they had set that up, then there wouldn't have been any dramatic tension there. They would have been like, okay, well, let's just keep running and then Hook will eventually come back to life.
Right.
So, yeah, I kind of like that aspect, but I can see the complaints too, for sure.
But upon reflection, I realized that wasn't the case because without the once if storyline, Regina wouldn't have been able to earn her status as a savior. And I thought that was really cool. Because while this is ultimately Emma's show, I feel like over time this has become just as much Regina's show as it is Emma's. I was not quick to jump on the Regina redemption bandwagon. It took me quite a while. But I feel like over time, like I said, she's come to earn her status of now being a savior. And it's going to be really cool going into season 5, seeing as now Emma is the Dark One, and more than likely Regina will play a big part in saving her. I also think that's cool because hopefully going into next season we'll be able to get a episode where we learn like the origin of the Dark One. Of course, we know now that the Sorcerer is Merlin. I can't remember if anyone has said that or not, but I guess I was wrong. I was also wrong about the author, although it does make sense that Henry is the author. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why they don't just come out and say that Disney was an author, because they more or less did in this episode.
They did. They said a man named Walt,
who recently died, and this took place slightly after Christmas in 1966. Walt died in early December 1966. So they
took it right away then.
Yeah, they did say it off the line that Walt was officially the guy before Isaac.
Yes. Isaac got that letter from Star Publishing dated December 15th, 1966. Walt Disney died.
I like how we keep pausing to correct Bobby, and then
he corrects himself.
Yeah.
Or he answers the
On December 15th,
Sorry, Bobby, we love you.
1966. And when Isaac went to meet the apprentice at the publishing company, he, said that you're replacing the author who had just recently passed. So they kind of more or less hit us over the head that, Disney was an author. And then as far as this author thing goes, like, they're kind of vague on just what the author is and does and his limitations. And, I mean, they've said a few things, but then a few things seem to contradict themselves. Why did the Quill pick Isaac in the first place? Because it doesn't seem like anything changed for him over time. It seems like he was always kind of a prick.
Yes, I guess so. No, actually, one thing I was wondering is, I'm kind of curious, like, if Isaac had picked a different pen, would he have been the author?
No.
Or do you think it was just like that just determined the style of author he would be?
No.
You think it had to be the
Quill.
correct pen? Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
And if the author has to be there to record stories, then why is it that Henry can just break the Quill in half? How is he going to record stories now? That all seems a bit murky to me. I hope they make it less so over the next season.
Yeah, not too murky.
But still, all of those plot holes aside, I really enjoyed this episode. So, out of 237 rejection letters piled up on my desk, I'll give it 225.
I hope you get accepted soon, Bobby. Thank you very much. Okay, Amy P. Unfortunately was not able to be in the chat tonight. Actually, Emery, while I'm reading this, you want to see if anyone had anything relevant to say in chat? But Amy P. says, sorry, y'all cannot make it tonight. I'm not feeling all that great, but my rating of the episode is 8 out of 10 Emma Daggers. I'm not sure I liked what happened with the Belle Rumpel relationship and a few things at the end. So anything relevant to say in chat here?
Let's see. I'm not a fan of Let It Go because I still get insane inside my head, but the first part of the season was still solid by my end. It's the Blue Knight. Stephanie says the half seasons are too predictable now. You know that things will be resolved. Angel said, I like that they did incorporate some of the original Snow Queen story. Yes. Blue Knight also says second half was a bit edgy in the beginning with the 3 Spice Girls of Doom. Spice Girls of Evil, get it right.
Yes.
But it got better when everything got developed.
Yeah, and people have been liking our author faces too, so that's good.
We're just going to do that a lot.
Okay, next up is Other Emery. Take it away, Other Emery.
And we wanted to see the author story all season long, and finishing with the author story was really amazing. We saw Henry threatening the author. We saw Blue at work, pulling the apprentice out of the hat. I was under the impression there were more people in the hat, though, and so I'm wondering, can we only pull one person out at a time?
No.
Or was he the
Yeah, there were a lot of fairies that came out at once, for sure.
last one in the hat?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
I did think that Henry was a bit dumb going to Enchanted Forest. I mean, who in the world is going to believe him? It just was a throwback to season 1 and the pilot, and pretty cool. There was a lot of connections between season 1 and the pilot, and that was definitely a big one. I also think the author wasn't very bright. I don't know if he got pulled in as well with Henry or if he followed. He also kept forgetting the things that he wrote himself.
As somebody who writes books, that happens. Because well, actually, with the author, it actually doesn't make much sense, because the reason it happens is because you're like 150% focused on this project for months and months and months and months, and then you have to start the next one. So you have to kind of
walk away,
throw all that behind you, and start moving ahead on the next thing. So I can see how that would happen, but this author has only written 1 book, so boo.
It was just really silly. Next point. I really hated the fact that Robin was with Zelina in the Sideways, lost reference, reality. Loved the fact, though, that she could not escape who she really was and turned green in the end again. It just shows that even though an alternate ending was written for her, she could not escape her true self. Tidbits. Loved evil snow dresses. Regina in banded snow clothes. Rumbell baby. Awkward sword fighting by Hook. Evil Grumpy. The reading that the author did looked like RegalCon. Emma in Rapunzel-like tower. And author Henry. Season 5 should be epic with Dark Emma and the quest for Merlin. How about getting Emma pregnant in season 5? Wouldn't that be something?
The dark pregnancy.
Finale episode, so no way that this was going to be short. Sorry about that. Out of 25 Tinkerbell windmills, I'm going to give it 24 and her wings. It was an epic episode, but there was some stupidity in it, so no full score for me. Can't wait to hear your thoughts.
I love
Regular Anne-Marie contradicted you. She gave it a perfect score, Other Anne-Marie. And that's why you're Other Anne-Marie. No, I'm kidding. No, we love Other Anne-Marie.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, you want to read this one from one of our favorite past listeners who finally caught up?
Is it?
It is.
Deb. You may have
Deb.
lost, those of you who've been around for a while will remember Deb.
She was on a lot for Wonderland.
A lot for Wonderland, a lot for Doctor Who specials.
Mm-hmm.
She does things that take her job takes her away for a while. So
Yes.
she's back now, though. Hey guys, it's Deb here.
Deb.
I have finally got back into the swing of things since my deployment. Oh, so she calls it out. Okay. I'm happy to get caught up in the finale episode of Once Upon a Time. So, hi guys, I've missed you.
We've missed you too.
We've missed you too. We talk about you all the time.
Yeah, we're like, when's she going to come back? And she's back.
So I just watched the finale episode of Once Upon a Time, and all I can say is, wow! Insert shocked face here. Oh. There's the shocked face. I really did not expect any of what happened to actually happen. Let's just start off with the fact that, thank goodness, the heroes and villains thing didn't pan out very long. I was glad that wasn't dragged out for a long time. However, I was happy that Henry was able to find Emma, and it was quite cute to see evil Snow and almost evil Charming/David hybrid. The backwards theory was funny when the author realized he created the evil portions of the book and was confronted by evil dwarves as well. That's very true.
Not these guys.
Not these guys. I guess what I'm trying to say is the 2-hour finale did not disappoint. But that ending, though, I'll take a breather because I have all the feels.
All of them? That's
feels.
Impossible because I have a lot of feels
I've got
myself.
a lot of feels going on, too.
Yeah.
Not going to lie, I was tearing up. Hook and the Charmings were so sad. It was nice to see Robin was going to fight for Regina, and it was cool to see Regina fight for Emma. Excuse me. Emma's now the Dark One. What does that mean? Isn't she the child of true love? Isn't she the child of light? Now that Emma is the Dark One, I have so many questions. Why did the knife just fall? Thank you. What is the Dark One Emma going to look like? Is she going to have gold scaly skin, black eyes? She just disappeared and never saw Dark One Emma. But now I can't wait for season 5. Now, on to rewatch for season 4 so we can speculate all over again. I'm so glad that you guys, I'm so glad to have you guys as my favorite weekly podcast. Always keep me busy and laughing. Out of 7 evil dwarfs, I would give it 7 evil dwarfs and add an author. Thanks, guys. Bye. Deb.
Thank you very much, Debbie. Deb.
Deb.
It's been way too long since we've heard from you.
Yes.
Don't let that happen again. By the way, if you want to come on our listener roundtable, I think there's a spot for you. FYI, let us know.
That goes for most of you, by the way. Like, you have to let us know, though.
Woo!
Okay, you guys are gonna laugh at me, and it's okay because I would laugh at me if I heard this too. One of the things that I was thinking of watching one of the final scenes of tonight's episode was the writers are really setting up for the 5th season to be the final season of Once Upon a Time. And if it's not the final season, I was also thinking, do the fans, the hardcore fans of Once Upon a Time, want it to be stretched out to a 6th year? Because there's an argument to be made, and for those of you who are listening who are also big Supernatural fans, the TV series on the CW, there's a strong argument to be made that genre shows should only last at their maximum 5 to 7 years. To go beyond that point, it seems like you're recycling old storylines again and again and again.
I will say that, the plot from this half season has been a lot like, and I've mentioned this a couple times throughout the half season, the Fables, the Vertigo comic Fables, did the Great Fables crossover, which included a character's, basically authors. They were called the Literals. And I will say that immediately after that storyline in the Fables comic, it kind of like it kind of just like dipped a little bit. So like through a season 5 would dip a little bit, and then it fell off very sharply. Like it's gone now. It's actually being canceled this month, I think. But nice. So I will say that once you get into this kind of like metatextual sort of plot lines and stuff,
might be about time.
There's not too much water left in the sponge, if you know what I mean.
And I'm sorry, you did not write an episode like you did tonight without thinking that next season could possibly be your final season. Because to me, to cap off this storyline that they set up in this episode, to just end in the 100th episode, I think it would be too cheap. Because we've always kind of wondered about this storyline in the back of our heads. What could happen if the roles were reversed and not just for an episode? And by the way, you guys probably mentioned this in the main part of the episode of tonight's podcast. But, okay, we did Back to the Future Part 1 in the 3rd season finale. Now it seems we've done Back to the Future Part 2 in this season finale.
See, I saw Back to the Future Part 2. Oh, no, yeah, I guess because they were fading from... Never mind, we'll go ahead.
So apparently we're going to the Old West next season for the 5th season finale. One last thing, or 2 last things, I'm sorry. I know, I'm talking too much. I love how Rumple, no matter what realm he's in, no matter what world he's in, will always make the cowardly choice no matter what. He will always make the cowardly choice. And the other thing I really loved is what the writers did with Isaac. Just the fact that this nothing happening writer is just thrust in this position of power, and really, in the end, that's all he is. He's just a bitter writer wanting his happy ending, his recognition, and really that makes him no different than Rumple. And I love how stupid his reasonings were to ruin Snow Charming's life just so he can make himself feel better about himself. Makes him no different than a lot of the bloggers online that just trash writing of television shows, just trash it, and they think they can do a better job. I give this episode 7 quills out of 7. This episode was phenomenal. Can't wait to hear you guys' thoughts on it. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Wu. And yeah, we loved it too, obviously.
Awesome.
Okay, this next one is from Liz, who I got to hang out with a lot at RegalCon. She was actually kind of like like Becca, who was on the panel with me, was the production Anne-Marie, and Liz was kind of the pre-production Anne-Marie. She helped me pass out flyers, and she handled like prizes and all that stuff. She was
also our winner.
Help. Yes, she was our Regal Contest winner for sure. Okay, so Liz says, Anne-Marie, I want you to know that I loved your video you sent into RegalCon. It was hilarious, and Bill, it was really great to meet you and get to know you better. We had a lot of good conversations. I'm glad we are friends, and I had such a great time with you during the weekend. She even took me for my In-N-Out burger, my California In-N-Out burger.
That's all he really wanted the entire week.
That's the whole reason I went on the trip. Now, on to the thoughts of my finale. Henry is my hero. He finally, after years of wanting to play the hero, Henry got his chance. I'm so happy for his character. My first thought when he broke the pen in half was Harry Potter doing the same thing in Deathly Hallows.
That's true.
And they were talking in the chat room about this earlier. And Harry Potter breaking the Elder Wand for the same reasons as Henry broke the pen. I haven't seen Deathly Hallows. So.
We're not going to talk about that.
The pen is not mightier than the wand, it turns out. Also, did you guys notice that the author died before Isaac was Walt Disney? I got that right away because Walt died in 1966. Did you guys catch that?
Yes, Liz, we got it.
That was a nice homage to Walt Disney, I thought. I would like to see them bring in Tom Hanks for an arc, like a flashback. It's Walt Disney. That'd be great.
They can't afford that.
Probably not. I was so glad that Emma remembered Henry. It made it easier and that he had an ally since Regina wasn't really buying the story, pun intended. Of all the characters in this episode acting in their evil or good counterparts, Hook was the most hilarious. At one point, you see him behind Emma holding a sword rather awkwardly. I think you mean Emma behind him.
Yeah.
But I really did laugh out loud. He was hilarious. I missed some dialogue, and I had to replay it because I was laughing so hard.
Nice.
The two things that brought me frustration was when Emma saw Hook die and then told Regina about her regret. Then when they all went back in Storybrooke, she sees him and tackles him and says, "Thank you." Seriously, that frustrated me. It's like, come on, woman.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
That was awful.
It was like, you were whining and complaining that he died before you got to tell him, and then you don't tell him right away. That seems a little weird. And then when she finally did say it, I'm so not happy with the ending of this episode. This is the part where I whine. I don't want Emma to be the Dark One. But why did it go after Regina at first? And where did Emma go? She disappeared. So many questions. Overall, I liked the episode. I did. I give it 82 dead apprentices out of 100.
He's not dead yet.
Or he might be.
No.
I don't know.
Please, no.
I will probably rewatch the finale again soon. Love you guys. Liz Placentia. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
And I mispronounced your last name.
Placencia, not Placentia.
Yeah, I totally did. I was like, I better not mess up this name because then she's going to think I'm not very appreciative of everything she did for me at RegalCon. And then I mispronounced the name.
And then you called it a placenta.
Yes, slightly. Michael,
Voicemail.
take it away.
Hey, Bill and Anne-Marie, this is Michael. This is just my off-the-cuff reaction to this episode. I'll probably think of a lot more interesting and insightful things to say in a couple days as I'm listening to your actual episode, but this is what I got for now. I thought it was really funny when Isaac first got the letter from the publisher. I thought it was funny that the letter was signed Star Publishers. I think that's a little bit of a clue that he wasn't really getting into a legit publishing deal.
I don't know. Star Publisher sounds. I like the logo though.
I love the logo.
Nice,
It's really
definitely.
cute.
With the pen not being able to break the rules of magic, I'm kind of surprised they went there, that they actually stuck to that rule. It would have been pretty easy for them to say that, the pen and the book exist outside of magic and the rules of magic, so it would have been actually a great way to bring back Neil. I would have bought that exception to the rule, so it would have kind of actually redeemed Neil's death and make it, make the story of his death actually much more interesting retrospectively, since what it basically is now is jumping the shark in terms of the show's theme being hope and happy endings. It doesn't really work out if the main premise of the show, of the reason everything happened, ends completely without hope. But I really liked the parallels to season 1, and especially the pilot in this episode. The whole "Who are you? I'm your son" thing with Henry. Having to convince somebody that the key to their present reality is false, using a book as the only evidence. Robin and Regina meeting at a carriage robbery. Them falling in love, interrupted by the fact that one of them is already engaged. Emma basically being Jefferson. I loved all that. I thought it was interesting, Snow yelling into the heart. I think her voice and inflection, she actually took a lot of cues from Lana Priya there.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
The way that Regina says some of her lines, I thought that was interesting. I saw that in some of the other acting that I can't remember the actress's name, Snow's character was doing. I thought the whole alternate timeline thing, I think the whole setup is kind of a Lost reference. It kind of resembles what fans were calling the Flash Sideways and the
Lost stuff again. Just going to point
Gotta
out,
get to that point, guys.
patreon.com/universebox.
last season of Lost. I'm not going to spoil what that is or what was going on there. It's not at all what you might think it would be. But basically in that situation, the characters' lives seem to be strangely reversed, or to ironically recall some aspect of their real lives. But it's an interesting parallel storytelling technique that the writers decided to bring back from Lost. Mm-hmm. I really liked Henry breaking the pen and saying nobody should be that power, and I think that more than anything proves him as he has the right to be the author. It reminds me of C.S. Lewis, the book Prince Caspian, at the end where Caspian is actually crowned king, and he's asked, do you think you are sufficient to rule over this land? And he says, no, I don't. And Aslan says, that is precisely why. That is precisely the proof of why you are, or something along those lines.
I would like to point out, this seems like a really appropriate time to point out that we don't listen to these beforehand or read these beforehand. Yes, I made these points, but it's just because me and Michael are simpatico.
It also reminds me of Tolkien's letter when he says that I do not wish to be a bishop is the best reason to make a man a bishop. Really interesting philosophies of power and the right to power there being pretty much the opposite of what a lot of people might think. I liked that. The whole situation, the whole scene with Rumpel and Belle, I really liked that. Although there was some real bothering inconsistencies. She said, I knew what I was getting into. I wasn't going to leave. And Rumpel totally calls her on it. He says, but you did. And that's true. He has a point. Yeah. So what is the right...
What's that?
It was after, like, he just got so... Like, he wasn't coming back. Mm-hmm. He was getting worse and worse and worse. She had to go. Mm-hmm. It was mean.
Well, it was like, I think his thing was that, like... He felt that she lost the faith a little bit. That there was a man behind the Dark One sort of thing. Which, I mean, like Michael said, is very true. She totally did. Right. And I think he kind of made her realize that he was still in there somewhere with that whole situation with Will and her heart and everything. Last week, I think it was.
Way to look at this. Was Belle wrong to cast him out? I would personally say probably. The whole for better or for worse part, after all, that would fall under the category of worse.
He's very the Dark One.
What to do when your man's the Dark One? A 3-step guide from Vogue.
But I don't think the writers of the show really believe that, and I don't think they expect most of the fans to believe that. So if not, then how are we supposed to take the "but you did" line? He kind of has a point. So is he meant to have a point? Is there a way to understand this that makes sense? I don't know. Probably not. And which brings me to my last point. Speaking of inconsistencies, okay, so the person with zero potential for darkness is now the Dark One. Okay. What was that sound? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's the sound of 1,000 sharks jumping. Okay, so basically to end this, I'm hoping the crazy directions the show is going in means that season 5 will be the last one. And I'm not being mean saying that a final season would be a good thing, because as with Lost, it allows them to end the show on their terms, not on the whims of the network. But for me, the positives are far from outweighing the negatives. And I've said this a lot, but honestly, it's really more true now than ever. Y'all are literally the only thing keeping me watching this show, so I can't wait to hear the podcast. Take care, Bill and Henry.
Kill it.
Kill the show. No, but didn't you hear our explanation earlier? Emma's the gray one.
The gray one.
The gray one.
She's the silver one. She's shiny.
And the Blue Knight's saying the Venom symbiote has a lot of strong connection to the Dark One entity thing too. Okay, you want to read this from Rachel?
For sure. Okay, this is from Rachel. Is it possible that Emma may be a different sort of Dark One because she assumed the role not through murder or greed, but through an act of self-sacrifice?
Ooh, I like that.
I do too.
That's always very powerful.
If I was one of the Once writers, that's exactly the device I would ultimately use. That was a wild and crazy ride, choppy writing, but overall fun.
And thank you very much, Rachel.
Rachel.
And someone who's just finally hopped in the chat here. Is Hoops, and I guess Hoops can't hear the episode, unfortunately, but we're going to play his voicemail anyway. Take it away, Hoops.
Hi, Bill and Anne-Marie. This is Anthony calling. Wow. What do I have to say about this episode here? I got a few points, so hopefully, no more than a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes. So, I have a lot of points. So, Heroes of Villains, man, that was one heck of a book, one heck of a alternate reality. I so called it. I think everyone called it when Henry was to become the new author. I mean, I and everyone in the Once universe knew that this was going to happen. The episode was just very well thought out. It was very good. I really enjoyed it. It kept me on the edge of my seat. With basically Emma being, the savior and all, in this story, she really proved her point, and I really loved her take in the episode, and I like how she wasn't, the true savior. It was somebody else other than her, so this was a great turnaround. Wow, with Hook and Regina dying in this alternate reality, that kind of struck me real hard. It's like, wow. So first of all, you take Hook away from us, and then you take away Regina afterwards. But what puts the icing on top of the cake is when Henry becomes the new author and rewrites her and brings her back to life. That was just the moment for me when everything just turned around. This episode was just wow. I really enjoyed this episode. Another point that I wanted to go over with the Snow being the evil queen this time. Basically, it made this whole episode to me, and with Snow becoming the evil queen, basically it made everything kind of the shoe was on the other foot type of thing. And I liked it. For once, Regina played the hero and not the villain, and Snow, played the villain and not the hero. So it's like, wow, it was great. So, Zelina, as always, we all know that her storyline, when it was actually her arc, it wasn't, for me, she was nothing but a crybaby, a crybaby trying to get what she wanted out in life, and that was basically her, the attention all on her. She wanted everything that she wanted, and she just seemed really selfish when it came around for it being, the wedding between her and Robin. And I'm so glad that it did not work out. So serious. Overall, I really liked the episode. I have a lot more points here, but I think I'm going to actually try and be in on the... Hey, Bill and Anne-Marie, this is Anthony calling again. I guess my voicemail ran a little bit too long here. I guess I had too many.
Yeah, the cutoff on the voicemail line, which we're going to try and get a better system for next fall and everything, but it's about 3 minutes. So just be aware.
Any questions and too many things, regarding the voicemail, but I really like the episode all in general. If you choose the last voicemail over this one or this one over the last, that'd be great.
We did both.
Scale for this episode was just phenomenal. It's like 10 million quills out of 10 million quills. I really, really liked this episode. So
Do you think he liked it?
let me know your thoughts
Possibly.
on
Might have
how
liked it.
you guys liked the episode and your different point of views of what's to come in season 5. So thanks, y'all. Later.
I think for season 5, they're going to do cover versions of the entire season 1 of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. That's my prediction. They're just going to recast it with all of the actors from Once Upon a Time regular. Like I don't know.
Folks' heart just exploded just by you suggesting that.
Like Hook will play Jafar, and I don't know. Let's see.
Well, at least them
Henry
like-
will be the White Rabbit. It'll be a good time. And yeah, actually, Hoop scale in the chat room was actually 10 out of 10 Dark Swans, which much lower than his normal one. Okay, you want to read this one from Ash?
Sure. Okay, hey Bill, let me just wish Anne Marie a very happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day.
Man, that was a wild and crazy ride, wasn't it? Doing happy dances for Hero Henry and Emma epically Anna-like punching Trollface Isaac. Yes, you go. You too. You go. Oh my gosh, Dark Charming. Does Southern Belle like fanning? Yes. Why I do declare that my rip-roaring adventure that I ever did see. The role reversals were great, I thought. And oh my gosh, Isaac fans so meta of us oncers, I think. Hashtag love it. And Wooby Hook and Gold Knight Light One Rumple. I think it is like high on my top 5 sides of I like seeing. Hashtag slow-mo shatter. I don't even know what that one is. We're just going to walk away.
Fair enough.
The horse and the armor was gorgeous. Squee! Lily Dragon guarding princess like locked in tower. Emma loved it. Very Shrek-like too. I was like, Shirk? No. Snow and
Shrek.
Charming's Isaac takedown. Loved it. And oh my gosh, finally, Camelot. Merlin. Yes, yes, yes.
But no Lancelot, except maybe in flashbacks.
Hashtag hey, happy Arthurian nerd dance. And oh, good Lord, Emma. You have to fight it. Fight the darkness. Do not give in to the despair. But it is very hero's journey into the underworldly and also very, very savior-like. Man, I loved...
Actually, I like that point because that's like she's been the savior.
She's technically saved.
There's a famous historical savior that is important to a lot of people, and when he died, he went to hell for a while. So maybe she went to some sort of version of that.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, because the parallels there already, savior. No, it's not like a roll your eyes kind of thing. It's like, seriously, like I think that's what they're going for.
I'm sure it is. Well, they called her the savior.
Yeah.
Man, love the bunch of it maybe, and Crazyville. I'm gonna rate this one 8.5 quill pens out of 10, and fitting because one got Elder Wand broken. Cheers and hugs, Ash.
Thank you very
Everybody's
much.
snapping that Elder Wand this week.
Yeah, everyone's pulling out the Harry Potter parallels for
Yep.
sure.
Well, it's there.
Harry Potter,
Harry Potter.
you're a chatter, Harry.
You're a chatter.
Tim,
Harry
you're a
Potter.
voicemail caller. You're a voicemail caller, Tim.
Hello, Bill. Hello, Anne-Marie.
Hello.
This is Tim here. So, firstly, I would like to say, I'm the King of Gotham! Oh, right, but that wasn't what I was calling about. I was calling about Operation Mongoose. Okay, so firstly, I like the scenes at the beginning where we figure out the author's backstory. And I think that Isaac is not going to go away since he did not die, and he does not really seem sorry for what he has done. So
I hope not.
I still want to keep a lookout on Isaac, okay? Cool. Secondly, I loved every single bit of the flashback to the alternate universe, especially Rumpelstiltskin, Knight of the Realm. Because,
That was
that
good.
Rumple, he is my favorite all the time, always, in every realm. And so I really hated it when he...
I will say at RegalCon that all of the cast interviews and everything, everyone was just like, he is so fun on set. Like
Yay.
he plays a lot of pranks and stuff like that. Like I guess that scene with them August in the cabin and everything.
Yes.
Like at one point,
The water bottle.
Yeah, he was holding a water bottle like right by his midsection and just pretending to pee while Lana was trying to do like a monologue and trying to like make her.
Stay serious.
Yeah.
to go back and be his villainous self and try and wreck everyone's happiness just to save his own So also, I really laughed so much when we figured out that it was Zelina that Robin was in love with in the alternate timeline. Also, probably one thing that I really liked was all of the Harry Potter call-outs in this episode. The first time I noticed that was when they had the scene with the author and the fountain pen, and all the pens I said to my friend, "Oh, it's Ollivander. The apprentice is Ollivander, who is the wand seller in Harry Potter." And then
I did think the inclusion of the standard like cheapo like 10-cent Bic pen was weird.
I see. I liked it.
Did you?
Yeah,
That's fair.
it shows the type of writer.
Harry breaking the pen is the same as Harry breaking the Elder Wand. So I really think that being the author is something that Henry can't escape that easily. So I think that Henry might still have author powers, even though he broke the pen. Maybe he'll be able to, tell the stories instead of writing them. I don't know. Maybe. I just want to see Henry more in the show. I know that might not be the most popular opinion. Oh, wait. Was there anything I was forgetting? Oh, yes. Merlin. I love Merlin. This means that over the summer, I need to read every single piece about King Arthur ever. And lastly, I had a little theory about Rumpelstiltskin. So his heart glowed white at the end.
And it cut off and he never finished, unfortunately. But I thank you very much, Tim. Definitely appreciate it. Oh, and Blue Jay in the chat room says, "Happy belated Mother's Day, Anne-Marie."
I know. I said thank you in the chat room. If you continue scrolling there.
I did.
Okay.
You did it as I was doing it, I think.
No.
Okay, next up is from Stephanie. And Stephanie says, "Hi, Bill and Anne-Marie."
Hi.
What an episode.
I know, really?
I really like the two-part finale. I wish we had seen more than the last chapter of the book. Same here. I still don't understand how Snow met Regina in this alternate universe. I have a few lines I missed, and I hope you can fill in the gaps. What did the waitress say when she was on the phone talking about Henry?
I think he's a runaway.
Yeah, I think he's a runaway. She was calling the cops on him. Yeah. And what did Charming say when he killed Hook? That I don't know. He said, "There, Hook, now you're dead." Hook.
I don't know. I
am Philosopher Charming.
Philosopher. Zen Charming.
Zen Charming. I'm really interested to see where we go in season 5. I would rate this finale 9 out of 10 evil authors. Was anyone else surprised that the author tried to kill Henry? I was. I thought it was great.
I thought it was,
it
made sense.
And it almost made him in some ways seem a little bit more evil than Rumpelstiltskin. Because, I mean, even Rumpelstiltskin hasn't been like, "Hey, I got to kill this kid," and I'm happy about it.
That swing thing.
But see, he was conflicted about it, though. The author wasn't conflicted.
That's because he knew it was his
like,
grandson.
"I hope Henry's dead. I 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 hope Henry's dead." But also, which dwarf did Snow kill? That was Doc. And I'm glad Hook didn't die. Thank you very much, Stephanie. Definitely appreciate it. Let's see here. How many letters do we have left here? Why don't you go ahead and read this next one, too, from Jess.
This one is from Jess. Okay. I loved almost every part of Heroes and Villains portion of the episodes. It did seem a little weird that Emma was the only one who didn't lose her memories, and I originally attributed it to her being the blah blah savior blah. Tell us how you really feel. But I thought it was pretty clever when it was explained as Rumpel's punishment for her. I completely loved it. When Henry became the author, he just chose to undo everything Isaac did. First off, why couldn't that have worked for Ingrid? Still pissed that the writers killed her off when she could have been happy with Anna and Elsa and Arendelle.
Hashtag Grumpy made it okay.
Hashtag I don't even remember that storyline. Second off, why go through all of this if it was just to be undone? Yes. At least with the time travel episodes last season, Emma brought back Marion. Marion.
Air quotes Marion.
Air quotes Marion. I thought that the murders of Doc and Hook could have at least provided so much more drama once the characters got back to Storybrooke. At least Puppy Hook, which is what I'm calling the alternate story Hook, was endearing and obedient. I would have liked to see him more, but the one thing that was really disappointed me was that even Rumpel didn't die. The whole time I was waiting for the death of the main character that we were promised, and it never came.
Yeah, we were promised a big death.
Yeah,
Didn't
like
happen. I wonder if there were like, I don't know, contract negotiations with Robert to where they filmed it both ways so it could go either way. Because sometimes that happens too.
that
And
they
I mean,
have to. Yeah.
obviously, I feel even worse than normal speculating on this kind of stuff just because I got to meet a lot of these people over the weekend.
Now you're like invested in it.
Yeah, I'm like, I hope they don't hear this and be like, okay, well, we're never talking to Bill again. But
No, we need people on greetings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I also love the fact that Dragon Mao is a very very active dater.
There's a word crossed out there that rhymes with glut, we'll say.
Glut. And that Lily actually does have a father, though hopefully it's not Merlin. Oh.
Well, I think in some versions of the story, Merlin can turn into a dragon. Something I will mention here briefly that we were talking about right before the show. In Kingdom Hearts,
Oh, here we go.
Merlin from The Sword and the Stone, he has books in his library, and one of them is a book kind of like the books here where you can enter another realm, and it's Pooh's Corner, more or less. So, makes...
That's it. We're going to the 100-acre wood, folks.
But, I mean, it makes total sense. The second I realized that Merlin was the sorcerer, it connected back to Kingdom Hearts immediately. And we're gonna rewatch Sword in the Stone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's happening.
Yeah.
I'll leave you with one more question. Was Rumple and Belle's baby legit, or did Isaac just give them baby Neil? He gave them baby Neil.
Yeah, I think so.
Please use this on the show and feel free to paraphrase me. I just have a lot of opinions. We did use it, and there was no paraphrasing.
No,
there was just comments.
There wasn't any.
There was one.
There was one paraphrase, and we cut out a couple paragraphs just for time.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just for time's sake, just because yours, Jess, which I love you, Jess. I know you from I think Google Plus, but it was just a little longer, and we're already almost 2 hours.
Yeah, we really are. So get moving.
But it was a double episode for sure.
Get moving.
Okay, next up is Hope. Take it away. Hope. Oh, also Sage of Earth said she loves Winnie the Pooh.
Hey, Bill and Anne-Marie. First and foremost, I hope you had a great time at RegalCon. I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to make your episode on Tuesday because I work on Tuesdays, so here we go. So I loved the finale for the most part. This could possibly be one of my favorite finales. I really enjoyed the Peter Pan finale, and I also really enjoyed the ending of Once Wonderland, and this one was pretty far up there for me. It was fun seeing the opposites of all the characters. I wish we got to see more people, though. I was imagining, like, evil Archie knowing everyone's secrets, and I wish we got to see more of those, like, background characters as evil people. Snow White, though? Holy goodness. Snow was scary. She was so good. Jenny knocked it out of the park. Snow White was just so freaking scary. She was just wonderful the whole way through. And Henry, can we talk about Henry? My baby actually did stuff. I was just so proud of him. They finally used Henry, and he was awesome. He was kicking ass and taking names, and he saved the day. And I just want to say, I was right.
Hashtag Grumpy made it okay.
About Henry being an author. I was right. It was great. I loved it. Angel brought up a really great point to me that Disney was probably, Walt Disney, was probably the previous author since he died in 1966, and that's where Isaac was. And I have to say, I need a scene of August and the Apprentice and Phuket. Like, that is a scene that I really super need in my life. I love Isaac as a villain. He ended up being a really great villain. And I still, he might be up there as one of my favorites. He was just really great the whole way through. But the thing about Isaac is his motivations fell flat. He went after Snow and Charming and ruined everybody's lives and did all this because he had a bad manager. I think we've all had bad manager, but that's not...
Well, I don't think it's just one bad manager.
He said he had a series of bad managers.
Yeah, he said it was a series of people treating him like that through his entire life, which I think kind of just built up and everything. But then again, I do think you have a point that it is a little weak sauce just because we didn't see the connective tissue between when he got offered the job and when he got banished from the job or banished to the book. Like we saw one or two incidents in between those two times, and that's him going to visit Cruella and him diverting Snow and Charming. So I think I'd really want to see more of what he did to kind of work towards his goal and accomplish his happy ending before I passed a final judgment. for sure.
Okay.
Not a reason to ruin people's lives. And so anyway, like, I love the finale as a whole. I thought it was really strong, except for the last 15 minutes. From where they got back to Storybrooke on to the end fell really flat to me. It was the weakest part of the episode. It was very anticlimactic, and I was disappointed with a lot of things. So here we go. Just as a whole, this entire season from Frozen until now, I'm really disappointed with how they've been using Will Scarlet all season. And I'm really scared they're going to knock him down as a regular because they didn't write him to be interesting for the non-Once Upon a Time in Wonderland fans. Like,
I will say that they have said that he's going to be a major part of next season.
But they said that he was supposed to be a major part of the second
Well, they
season.
said he was going to be a series regular on this season, which meant he was contractually obligated to appear in X number of episodes. But they've said his story about what happened between Wonderland and this season of Once Upon a Time is going to be addressed.
Actually, you know what probably did happen? Because I think that news came out before we knew we were getting Frozen.
Yeah.
Everything changed when they got Frozen. They had to shove in a half series or a half season story arc.
Yeah,
so I think that's where the problem happened.
If there was one reason I was upset that I didn't get to hang out after the finale and everything, it's because I wanted to ask Adam that question. I'm sure he wouldn't have answered me, but probably not.
Probably
not. I would have. I would just love to know how much Frozen kind of affected where they were going this season.
Yeah, messed
people
everything
who know
up.
Once Wonderland know that he's a really strong character and he carried the entire show. But people who didn't watch it just see this guy and they didn't even use him well. So I'm really scared for Will Scarlet right now. I felt kind of like they were attacking Neil fans a lot in this one. You know, they had all these like wibbly wobbly rules about whether or not the dead stay dead. I mean, we've seen Anastasia come back, we've seen Zelina come back.
See, I didn't see it as like an attack on Neil fans. I thought it was more just using him as a demonstrable example that a lot of characters had a motivation to bring back that no, you can't bring people back.
But they've brought almost everyone else who's died on the show back, at least in flashback.
But see, the thing is, they always have some futzy ways to kind of make an excuse to bring him back from the dead, even if they want to, because obviously they did that with Maleficent. Like the canon isn't something external to them. They can affect it if they want to tell that story, or if what's his name, Neil, the actor's name, Michael Raymond James, if he wants to come back for a 2 or 3 episode arc or something.
From what I read, he wasn't the one who chose to
terminate the. Well, I mean, that probably wasn't like a personal thing. That was probably just like a story thing. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'd have rather Rumple died.
We've seen Rumple come back. I mean, a lot of people come back from the dead, but they were flat out like, nope, nope, nope. Neil can't ever come back. He is dead. And
people are calling for Mushu as dad.
Oh, the Hungarian Horntail. That's right. More Harry Potter references.
I'm like, well, he died in this world, but so did Zelina. And people were like, well, Zelina didn't actually die. And I'm like, well, Neil was actually originally afflicted with his death scene in the Enchanted Forest. So why do Zelina rules apply and Neil rules do not? Oh my god. Sage is about to kill me. I have a problem with Belle taking back Rumple. She started saying, we could have had romance. This is great. You could have had me. You could have had everything. And then he was like, oh, I know. And she's like, okay, well, if you knew, then we're both great. Yay. And it just, I'm so frustrated with the writing of Belle. And because I do ship Rumple and Belle, but I just don't feel like it's justified to get them back together. Now that this half season is over with.
I will say, addressing that point about like Belle and Rumple and everything like that, I didn't appreciate, and it's been brought up a little bit about like what happened with him and Zelina is kind of like tantamount to abuse in certain situations and stuff. And the thing he said that he didn't deserve to be loved. That's very common with abuse victims. They just they lose all their self-worth and their confidence in themselves. And I think that's probably what was going on with Rumple. There is just like, I think he made this dark turn just because he didn't want to. He couldn't believe that anyone could ever love him again, sort of thing. So I think that was justified a little bit.
Looking back on the half season, I really ended up enjoying the Queens of Darkness. Like, I'm not even calling them the Spice Girls of Evil. I'm calling them the Queen of Darkness because they were so good. They were such great characters, but now what was the point of them? None of them were in the finale. I mean, they mentioned Maleficent, but she wasn't actually there.
The point of them was to make people forget about Frozen so they could finish telling the story they set out to tell.
Probably.
What was the entire point of the Twins of Darkness in general? And that falls back on the half-season format. This little chunk of half-season really needed to be a full season. It needed to be 23 episodes because there was so much, and it makes me mad that we wasted so much time in the Frozen arc when we could have had a full season to flesh out the Queens of Darkness, to have that Will Scarlet character, to have, you know, all this. And I hope from now on they're going to throw the half-season format out the window. I mean, it's just doing nothing but hurting them. And finally...
Sorry, Bobby.
You know, I wasn't really surprised about Wumple and Emma switching positions as the Dark One. I was spoiled. Stupid spoiler pictures messed that up for me. But at the same time, it's good setup for the second half, but I'm just kind of, like, indifferent about it. Like, I think it would be cool to see Merlin. I hope Cinco Walls comes back as Lancelot, because I've always liked his Lancelot. And so I hope he comes back. Anyway, that's my recap of the finale. I gave Operation Mongoose 8 out of 10 more scenes of Emma punching out Isaac, because that was awesome. Bye.
Thank you very much, Hope. And yeah, actually, truth be told, I saw these spoilers about Emma becoming the Dark One months ago. And I've been very careful not to, even in theories or anything, like try to let that information influence them. I hope I did a good job.
You did, except when you gave us the link to the video that basically confirmed it.
Oh, okay, from that set visit.
Yeah, the set visit video.
Well, I did warn high spoilers.
High spoilers,
sure.
yeah.
All right, you want to read this from Alina?
Okay.
We're almost done, folks.
We're almost there, guys.
2 hours.
2 hours and counting. Oh, everybody stretch. Up, stretch. Down. Okay.
Up, down, touch the ground, put me in the mood. Up,
for
down,
food.
touch the ground, in the mood for food.
Oh, whatever.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. Okay, Regina's Bandit Snow was fun with sass. Excuse me. Dark Snow was epic. You could tell Ginny Goodwin was having fun with the role. I'm so happy it wasn't True Love's Kiss that broke the stories, but Regina's sacrifice instead. Happy Lily will be staying in town to find out who her father is. Excuse me. Surprised Maleficent doesn't know it happened in dragon form. Woo! I wonder will her father be the sorcerer, a.k.a. Merlin. Terry O'Quinn is Merlin. He played Locke on Lost.
Yeah, this is like a dream casting.
Here we go, Lost. Okay. John Terry as Merlin. He played Christian Shepherd on Lost, since they love casting actors from Lost.
Lost? I've never heard of it.
Lost? What is this Lost?
What is this Lost? Okay, Patty, take it away. Patty!
Hey, guys. I'm sorry to call you again. I realized that my earlier message was a bit impromptu in suggesting for Henry to go to England.
But Patty, I want to go to England.
Anne-Marie definitely does want to go to England. One note, Patty, like we just had like 5 voicemails from you, and I didn't have the bandwidth today to like go through them and figure out which one I was supposed to play, so I just grabbed the most recent one. I will say, suggestion for next time, if you need to, if you want to make sure you get it right before you send it in, feel free to send us an MP3 or a WAV file to greetingsfromstorybrooke@gmail.com. You should be able to record those with like your phone voice recorder or your computer sound recorder or something. Mm-hmm. And that way
that
maybe
goes for everybody.
Yeah, and maybe that way it won't be quite so confusing for me. And I apologize if like the past couple of weeks we've cut them a little bit, but it was just because getting multiple ones, I honestly just don't have time to like listen through to figure out which one is the right one to play sometimes. Especially this week because of RegalCon and everything. Yeah. But apologies if you felt any sort of offense by us cutting them a couple times or anything. And that's the way to fix it, too. So,
especially since you can't really, afford to send her to RegalCon. Imagine Wessex, England to find Merlin's Mound. By the way, there are people who are looking for that weird, but still nice. I'm sure there's a historical version of Merlin. Though I think he'll be more Celtic and Druid, especially since they said he's buried around mud, I think a mound, which is typically a burial place to find for the Celtics. But at the same time, like I'm referring to the season finale, I thought it was pretty good. And out of 1,000 Evil Rico references, I'm going to give it 99 Evil Rico references. It was fantastic. They did blow it out of the park, and I think it's going to be looking forward to next season. But there's always room for improvement. I think the most interesting, two of the most interesting aspects is the fact that we find out that Hook hasn't been telling them the entire truth about the events of season 3A, especially in referring to what he did with the Sorcerer's Apprentice, and which does suggest that he probably hasn't told them about the blackmail, which I hope does come back to bite him in season 5. Mm-hmm. I think the other thing that is interesting is the fact of the difference between last season, where Rumple tells him, Regina, that if the darkness does reaches his heart, that it would release the dark one entity, and how Regina ignored it. In this episode, when Belle reveals it to the entire town out loud in the middle of a party, saying, yeah, Rumple doesn't just said that. We're still in danger because of this.
I will say, I think it was a little weird that everyone was so willing to save Rumpelstiltskin when they had access to the dagger. Mm-hmm. Like, with everything he's done, it seemed like they should have been completely willing to just snuff him out. Yeah. But then again, I guess
somebody's going to become the Dark One for stabbing him.
Yeah, I guess so, huh?
Yeah. It's better the way that Emma became the Dark One.
It's complicated.
It's really complicated.
Seeing the difference of how the heroes react to that news. So I think it's something to say, I think even political things, where there's some things that some politicians will not do if it's not known to the public, but they will try to avoid. But once it's known, they will grudgingly do it. They'll be cursing a load before doing whatever they have to do. So I do find it interesting. And to me, I think that's probably her heroic moment, especially it's kind of like a whistleblower thing when they tell the public, yeah, these guys are not doing what they're supposed to be. And I hope, again, that does come back to bite them.
Oh, cut off.
Why'd you cut her off?
I didn't cut it off. The voicemail cut off. It happens, but thank you very much, Patty. I was hiding the chat because I think Anne-Marie's typing something. Okay, fair enough.
Tweeting.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Anne-Marie. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and read this last one from Vicky?
All right, this is from Vicky. I believe this was a series of Facebook posts, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
All right, you had to look and see what I was tweeting.
Yeah.
Going into hour 3 of Green to Storybrooke. Lots of opinions.
We're almost done. This is the last one.
We got this. Okay. Well, that was a heck of a finale. I will say that it seems to become a trend of going back in time, resetting things for the finale. That's true. But still majorly moving the story forward in the end. It was quite interesting to see everyone's personalities flipped as Snow became the big bad villain and Regina and Rumple are now heroes. I had to sort of laugh at Hook being a wimp and allergic to rum. That's just sad, y'all. That's just really sad.
Yeah, for Hook.
For Hook
most
especially.
Of
all. For Emma, because she got goat's milk. What are you doing? Oh.
I just showing them the flyer.
Okay. But it was awesome that their connection is so deep that it still became to realize in Bizarro Enchanted Forest. I think that it was great that Henry became the next author, but was worthy enough to realize that no one person should have that much power. And I can't forget the Star Wars shoutouts. Hook saying Henry was a prisoner from the kingdom Kashyyyk. I don't know. I don't speak Star Wars. And then Henry saying that the Wookiee prisoner bit never fails. I guess it doesn't, because I think that's a in Star Wars thing.
Is that because I couldn't hear what Henry said there?
I didn't hear the word Wookiee ever, but I saw that multiple places.
Yeah, we're not the type to pick up Star Wars references.
Nope, Star Wars Lost.
I've seen each film. I've seen each film except for the last one, the last prequel, one time each. So like I catch the general references, the more specific ones.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
Okay. A few things though. Henry can drive a car. What? Also, so Belle was just always hanging around her and Rumple's house in a frilly yellow dress. True story. I understand having the allusions to the Disney character, but really, no one with a baby just hangs around in fancy clothes. It should be interesting to see Emma as the Dark One now. I love that she sacrificed herself in order to save the darkness from taking Regina, so that she could have her happy ending with Robin. I wonder how that played with Hook though. Like, I love you, Dark One powers ignite. Like, she saved Regina, but sacrificed. Really, she sacrificed Hook. But anyway.
Bye, Blue Jay. Oh,
bye. We're losing everybody.
It's fine. We're
it's
about
fast
done
and furious
here.
around here. Okay, I love that I also wanted to mention that I think I got my mom interested in the show. For a while, I've been watching it while she's in the room working on projects. A couple of times I've gotten home from work and went to watch it off the DVR, only to see that somebody else had already watched it. When I asked if she was the one who watched it, she just matter-of-factly said yes. I just find it amusing that this is the show she's latched onto, since she often comments on how the shows I watch are weird. Nice. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Vicky. And as always, next week, take a break. It's been a very long episode for all of us, right? Although if you want to send in your thoughts on the whole season, I guess that's okay, but don't.
But do.
We will absolutely not accept any emails
Lies,
to greetingsfromstorybrooke@gmail.com. We won't be looking at the Twitter @GFStorybrooke. Facebook, we've just completely deleted at facebook.com/greetingsfromstorybrooke.
You're such a dork.
And voicemail? What's voicemail?
424-274-2352. Do it up.
They dismantled the phone system in the United States. We can no longer do voicemail at 424-274-2352. But we thank you very much for sticking with us. I'm going to have to check. This might be the longest. No, it might tie for the longest episode ever with episode 100. It might tie. I'll have to check.
It might beat it.
But it might be the longest episode ever.
We're still recording. The more we talk about this, the longer it gets.
Yeah, so let's talk. So what are some long episodes we've done? We've done the 100th episode. We've done probably the last year's finale.
Bill, where can people find you?
They can find me at on Twitter at Bill Meeks. I'm not used to this. You can find me on Twitter at Bill Meeks. You can follow all the podcasts we do at universebox.com, including Universebox, the podcast about everything. And you
With
can
an
pick up
upcoming Harry Potter episode for those of you throwing around Harry Potter references.
And you can pick up my latest book, which is the fairy tale, The Trials of King Sparrow, which Sean McGuire has. bit.ly/King Sparrow. Anne-Marie, where can people find you online?
You can find me on the Twitters at AMDeSimone.
At AMDeSimone?
At AMDeSimone.
Oh, and I would also recommend that you guys go to universebox.com and check out Anne-Marie's great kind of Mother's Day post that she did over the weekend. I really enjoyed it.
It's a crier, sorry.
A little bit of a crier, but...
It's a crier. There's a video.
But it's a good kind of
video.
crier.
He did an awesome video.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I guess that's about it. We're going to be back soonly with... Well, we're going to do the RegalCon panel. Mm-hmm. We'll be publishing that. We have a Heroes and Villains panel that we did that we'll be publishing.
That he did.
And we're going to do a listener roundtable very, very soon.
So if you're interested in that, please email us at
bit.ly/beongreetings.
Oh, we have that still?
Yeah, we have that still.
Oh,
so you can go to bit.ly/beongreetings. And a lot of thank yous from the chat.
Yes, thank you guys. We really love having you here, and it's been really neat being on a different night. There's been a lot of different people.
Oh yeah, for sure, which is always
everybody's
fun.
getting into character. I'm like, what's going on?
All right,
Blue Robin, Blue Knight.
Hold on, we got to get the silly author one last time. There we go. Until next time. Greetings from Storybrooke.
Greetings from Misthaven.
Thank you very much, guys. I forgot to put the title screen up because I wanted to do dancing.
Oh, dancing.
The dancing is fun time.
Dancing and the
here, actually, let me throw in these two.
The dancing on the singing.
Here we go, guys. These are.
What? Oh, the titles.
Yeah, the title options here. Pro level fan fiction or flip the script. I don't know how I got so out of breath in that little bit of dancing.
Why'd you put them in there twice?
Because the first time I thought it was all one line. So I was like,
got it. All right. Thank you guys so much. You're awesome.
I'm not going out alive yet. I'm waiting for just a second so we can decide on the title.
Pro level fanfic. The end.
Pro level fan fiction?
Yeah.
Well, we have one vote for pro level fan fiction.
You have two, because don't I count?
No.
Well.
You don't. Yeah, but I totally did the face, guys. And he was standing like right,
that's fantastic.
right over here. Like right there.
Uh-oh, Bobby wants to flip the script.
Uh-oh. Now we have a tie.
Come on, Harry, or the Blue
Someone
Knight.
has to break it. And
Somebody
we can't
break
go
the
offline.
tie. Please, I'm tired.
After 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, pretty long. Pretty long.
Pretty long.
Someone needs to be the tiebreaker. Is anyone else still around?
Are you there?
If not, Anne-Marie will probably be the tiebreaker. I'm going to give it 10 more seconds.
9,
10, 9,
8.
8. Oh, there's nope.
Nope. Maybe. Thinking about it.
6,
5,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Pro level
fan fiction it is, for sure.
Okay, we did that a lot tonight. I'm gonna go.
We did. It was a lot of fun, right?
It was something.
Oh, and there's Harry with pro level fan fiction. We got it.
We got it.
Thanks, guys. Super long episode. We had a really good time. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. It's ridiculous that you did. I unfortunately I'm not going to be able to hang out and chat much tonight because I got to get this episode published and get to bed.
Yeah. Oh,
Plus
then the Blue Knight flipped the script.
No.
No.
Plus the magic juice is kicking in, so I should probably. Anyway. But thank you very much, guys. Night.
Night.